respected dignitaries on and off the dais, distinguished industry leaders, esteemed representatives from government, MSMEs, member of industry associations, entrepreneurs, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this prestigious program on Atmanirbharta and export readiness for a competitive Gujarat. Today, as India is moving confidently towards becoming a global manufacturing and innovative hub, the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat is not merely about self-reliance, but about creating global competitive industries capable of leading international value chain. Gujarat, with its entrepreneurial spirit and industrial strength, has a vital role to play in realizing this vision. Now, I would welcome, and it is my privilege to welcome and introduce our dignitaries. First, I would ask Dr. Hasmukh Adia sir, who is a principal advisor to the Honorable Chairman or Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat and former Union Finance Secretary, Government of India. I would ask Sampath sir to give a bouquet and welcome Dr. Hasmukh Adia sir and come to the dais. Sir. Sir. તાળીઓના ગડગડાટથી હસમુખ અડિયા સાહેબનું આપણે સ્વાગત કરીએ. હવે હું નીલ શ્રીમાળી સાહેબને કહીશ કે શ્રી અજય ભાદુ સાહેબનું સ્વાગત કરે. અજય ભાદુ સર, હુ ઇઝ એડિશનલ સેક્રેટરી, મિનિસ્ટ્રી ઓફ કોમર્સ એન્ડ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝ, ગવર્મેન્ટ ઓફ ઇન્ડિયા. પ્લીઝ વેલકમ અજય ભાદુ સર. હવે હું પાવાગઢી સાહેબને નિવેદન કરીશ કે સંદીપ એન્જિનિયર સાહેબનું સ્વાગત કરે. સંદીપ એન્જિનિયર સર, હુ ઇઝ ધ પ્રેસિડેન્ટ GCCI and Chairman and Managing Director of Astral Limited. Please welcome Sandeep Engineer sir. હવે હું તરુણ ચૌધરી સાહેબને નિવેદન કરીશ કે શ્રી હંસરાજ ગજેરા સાહેબ, હુ ઇઝ ધ જનરલ સેક્રેટરી લઘુ ઉદ્યોગ ભારતી એન્ડ એ સ્ટ્રોંગ એડવોકેસી ઓફ MSME સેક્ટર, એમનું સ્વાગત કરે. હવે આપણે કાર્યક્રમની આગળ શરૂઆત કરીએ. વડોદરા જે આપણે સંસ્કાર, શિક્ષણ, ઉદ્યોગ અને વિકાસની સમૃદ્ધ પરંપરા ધરાવતું શહેર છે અને આજે એક એવા વિષય માટે આપણે એકત્રિત થયા છીએ જે માત્ર ગુજરાત જ નહીં પરંતુ સમગ્ર ભારતના ભવિષ્ય સાથે જોડાયેલું છે. માનનીય વડાપ્રધાન શ્રી નરેન્દ્ર મોદી સાહેબના દૂરંદેશી નેતૃત્વ હેઠળ ભારત આજે આત્મનિર્ભર ભારત, વોકલ ફોર લોકલ, મેક ઇન ઇન્ડિયા અને વિકસિત ભારત 2047ના સંકલ્પ સાથે આગળ વધી રહ્યું છે. મોદી સાહેબ વારંવાર કહે છે, સ્થાનિક ઉત્પાદનને વૈશ્વિક ઓળખ આપવી એ જ સાચી આત્મનિર્ભરતા છે. સૌનો સાથ, સૌનો વિકાસ, સૌનો વિશ્વાસ અને હવે સૌનો પ્રયાસ, આ મંત્રને સાકાર કરવા ગુજરાત હંમેશા દેશનું નેતૃત્વ કરતું આવ્યું છે. તો આજના કાર્યક્રમ આ ચર્ચાનું મંચ નથી, પરંતુ ગુજરાતને આત્મનિર્ભર, વૈશ્વિક સ્તરે સ્પર્ધાત્મક અને નિકાસલક્ષી અર્થવ્યવસ્થા તરીકે વિકસાવવા માટે વિચારો, નીતિઓ અને અનુભવોનું સશક્ત સંમેલન છે. તો કાર્યક્રમની શુભારંભ કરીએ. હું એમએસએમઈ ક્ષેત્રના વિકાસ, સ્વદેશી ઉદ્યોગોનું પ્રોત્સાહન અને આત્મનિર્ભરતા ભારતના વિઝનને સાકાર કરવામાં હંસરાજ ગજેરા સાહેબનું એક સારું એવું યોગદાન છે. તો શ્રી હંસરાજ ગજેરા સાહેબને હું વિનંતી કરીશ કે તેઓ આપના વિચાર મંચ પર પ્રગટ કરે. તાળીઓથી ગજેરા સાહેબનું સ્વાગત કરીએ.
નમસ્કાર બધાને. આત્મનિર્ભર અને એક્સપોર્ટ રેડીનેસ ફોર એ કોમ્પિટિટિવ ગુજરાત, આજનો આપણો આ સબ્જેક્ટ છે ને ખૂબ જ અગત્યનો સબ્જેક્ટ છે. અને આ સબ્જેક્ટ માટે થઈને આપણી વચ્ચે વિશેષ વાતો કરવા માટે અને એમના સુઝાવો આપવા માટે શ્રી હસમુખભાઈ અઢિયા સાહેબ, જે સાહેબે હમણાં પરિચય આપ્યો છે આપણને, અને તેઓ સરકાર અને ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલનો રોલ હરીફાઈમાં શું હોઈ શકે આ વિષય ઉપર આપણને વાત કરશે સાહેબ. એવી જ રીતના આપણી વચ્ચે શ્રી અજય ભાદુ સાહેબ, કે જે એડિશનલ સેક્રેટરી મિનિસ્ટ્રી ઓફ કોમર્સ એન્ડ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝ ગવર્મેન્ટ ઓફ ઇન્ડિયામાં આપે છે. ગુજરાતમાં ઘણું આપણી અહીંયા વચ્ચે રહેલા છે. તેઓ ભારતની અંદર ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝ અને વેપાર પોલિસીઓ સરકારની શું શું છે અને એમાં કેવી રીતના આપણે એનો ઉપયોગ કરી શકીએ આપણે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝના, એને વિશે સમજ આપશે આપણને. એવી જ રીતના શ્રી સંદીપજી એન્જિનિયર છે, કે જેઓ જીસીસીઆઈના પ્રમુખ છે, ઉપરાંત પોતાનો એનો નિજી વ્યવસાય છે. તેઓ ગુજરાતનો રોલ આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતમાં શું હોઈ શકે આ બાબતમાં વાત કરવાના છે. આ ઉપરાંત આપણી વચ્ચે તજજ્ઞો છે, કે જે ડૉક્ટર સુનિલ આર પારેખ, ગૌરવ મોઢ છે, વિકાસ મારવા છે, રવિ મિત્તલ છે, પરમ શાહ છે, રાકેશ દ્વિવેદી છે, પ્રશાંત સિંહોરા છે, મનીષ તેબરીવાલ છે, શુભાંગ આંકોલિયા છે, સુનિલ દવે, ગિરીશ અગરવાલ, ડૉક્ટર સુનિલ આર પારેખ જે આવી ગયા છે આપણે, અને અમિત પ્રકાશ યાદવ. એટલે આમ આવા વિવિધ આપણી સામે પણ વક્તાઓ છે, જે એનો પણ આપણને લાભ મળશે. આપણને વિષયને અનુરૂપ માર્ગદર્શન આપશે અને પોતાના અનુભવો આપણને જણાવશે. તો આ માટે આપણે જે કંઈ અહીંયા આપણે એકત્રિત થયા છે, એટલે આ અનુભવો અને એની સમજનો લાભ આપણે લઈએ. આપ સર્વેનું હું આ વર્કશોપમાં સ્વાગત કરું છું. અને બહેનો પણ અહીંયા ઉપસ્થિત છે, કે જે પણ આજકાલ આપણે જોઈએ છીએ કે આપણે સર્વાંગી વિકાસમાં એમનો પણ મોટો રોલ હોય છે, એમનો પણ સ્વાગત કરું છું. આપણા વડાપ્રધાન શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈ મોદી અત્યારે દેશના સર્વાંગી વિકાસ માટે વિવિધ આયામોથી રાષ્ટ્રને વિશ્વમાં પ્રથમ હરોળમાં લાવવા માટે પ્રયાસો કરી રહેલ છે, જેમાં એક ભારત શ્રેષ્ઠ ભારત આ એમનું મેઇન મિશન છે. આઝાદી પછી હાલ આપણે આત્મનિર્ભર ભારત, હર ઘર સ્વદેશી, ઘર ઘર સ્વદેશી અને વોકલ ફોર લોકલ આવા સૂત્રો કે જે આપણે ઘણા વર્ષો પછી સાંભળીએ છીએ. અત્યાર સુધી આપણો એક ક્રેઝ હતો કે આપણને ઇમ્પોર્ટેડ આઇટમોનો એક મોટો ક્રેઝ હતો, અને અહીંયા મોટી આઇટમો બનતી નહીં ને અવેલેબલ પણ નહોતી. તો આને પરિવર્તન લાવવા માટે થઈ આખો દેશ અત્યારે આપણે પ્રયાસ કરીએ છીએ, અને એમાં આજનું મેઇન મિશનમાં આપણે એ માટે જ અહીંયા એકત્રિત થયા છીએ. અને વોકલ ફોર લોકલ અને આત્મનિર્ભર ભારત અને આત્મનિર્ભર ગુજરાત આજ એ જ વિષયમાં આપણે આગળ વધી રહ્યા છીએ અને આપણે ઇકોનોમી મજબૂત કરવાના પ્રયાસ કરી રહ્યા છીએ. એમએસએમઈ એ રાષ્ટ્રની તાકાત છે, જેનો રોલ રોજગારીથી લઈ જીડીપી અને ઇકોનોમીમાં મોટો રોલ છે. આથી આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતમાં તેનું મહત્ત્વ ખૂબ જ છે, અને આપણું એમએસએમઈ છે આપણા દેશની તાકાત છે. આત્મનિર્ભર ભારત એક સૂત્ર નહીં, પણ એ 140 કરોડ ભારતના ભારતીયોનું સુખાકારી અને સર્વાંગી વિકાસ માટેનું એક આપણું સપનું છે. હાલ દેશમાં આપણે ડિફેન્સ, રેલવે, શિપિંગ, શસ્ત્રો તેમજ અનેક હેન્ડ ટૂલ્સ, પાવર ટૂલ્સ અને ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિકને રમકડાની અંદર આત્મનિર્ભર થવા માટે આપણે આગળ વધીએ છીએ. એમાં દવાઓ હોય તો ઘણી બધી આઇટમો છે કે જે આયાત કરી રહ્યા છીએ. તો આ તમામ આઇટમોનું આપણી પાસે જો આપણી સમગ્ર લિસ્ટ હોય તો આ બનાવવા માટે આપણે જો પ્રયાસ કરીએ તો આપણી માટે એક આ ઉત્તમ તકો છે. ખાલી ડિફેન્સમાં 36,000થી વધારે આઇટમો આયાત થાય છે, જેમાં 5500થી વધારે આઇટમો આપણે દેશમાં ઉત્પાદિત કરી શક્યા છીએ અને એમાં આત્મનિર્ભર થઈ ગયા છીએ. આપણે જોયું કે અત્યારે આપણે જે અહીંયા જે ધરતી ઉપર બેઠા છીએ એમાં પ્રથમ આપણા પ્લેનની ઉડાન હમણાં જ એની ટ્રાયલ લેવાની આપણને હમણાં યુનિવર્સિટીમાં પણ એની વાત થઈ. એમએસએમઈ મોટા પ્રોજેક્ટ આઇટમ બનાવવા માટે સક્ષમ ન હોય, સ્વાભાવિક છે કે એના 500,000 કરોડનું એમએસએમઈનું કામ નથી. પરંતુ સરકારના જે પીએસયુ હોય, રેલવે છે, ડીઆરડીઓ, આરડીઓ, એચએલ, બીએમએલ, ટાટા વગેરેને તે પૂર્જા સેમી એસેમ્બલી બનાવી સપ્લાય કરવા માટે સક્ષમ હોય છે અને આ રીતે આત્મનિર્ભર ભારત મિશનમાં પોતાનો મહત્ત્વનો સહયોગ આપી શકે છે. આપણે પહેલાં મેક ઇન ઇન્ડિયા કહેતા હતા, આજે મેક ફોર ઇન્ડિયા અને મેક ફોર વર્લ્ડની વાતો આપણે કરી રહ્યા છીએ. કારણ કે આપણે આજે આ સેમિનારમાં એકત્રિત થયા છે એમાં આપણા રાજ્યનું અને દેશનું વધારેમાં વધારે નિકાસ થાય એ દિશામાં પણ આપણે વિચારતા થઈ ગયા છે અને એ વિચારવું પણ ખૂબ જ જરૂરી છે. ભારત એ દેશની તાકાત છે, આપણા હૃદયની ભાવના છે. જે આઇટમો આયાત થાય છે તેને દેશમાં ઉત્પાદન કરવાની મોટી તકો આવેલી છે. આપણે $5 ટ્રિલિયન મોટી ઇકોનોમી તરફ આગળ જવાનું સપનું જોઈએ છીએ તો આત્મનિર્ભર ભારત બનવું પડશે. આયાત થતી વસ્તુઓ દેશમાં જ ઉત્પાદન કરવું પડશે. આટલા પ્રયાસ થતાં દેશની આયાત વધી રહી છે, જેની સામે નિર્યાત ખૂબ જ ઓછી છે. એક મોટો ગેપ છે. હજી પણ આટલા આપણે પ્રયાસ કરીએ છીએ તો આયાત નિર્યાતમાં મોટો ગેપ છે. એટલે હજી આ દિશામાં આપણે ખૂબ જ મોટું કામ કરવું પડશે અને નિર્યાતનું આપણે વધારવા માટે કામ કરવું પડશે. અને ઇકોનોમી ત્યારે જ આપણી મજબૂત બનશે, કરન્સી આપણો રૂપિયો તો જ મજબૂત બનશે. આ વિષયો અને સુઝાવો સાથે અહીં ઉપસ્થિત તજજ્ઞો, વક્તાઓ આપણને વાત કરવાના છે. આ અગત્યના વિષય માટે આપ સૌ પધારેલો છો તો આપ સર્વેનું સ્વાગત સાથે અભિનંદન પાઠવું છું. આવો આપણે સૌ ગુજરાત અને ભારત દેશને આત્મનિર્ભર બનાવવા ઉમદા કાર્યમાં જોડાઈએ. જય હિન્દ, ભારત માતા કી જય, વંદે માતરમ.
આભાર ગજેરા સાહેબ. હવે હું આમંત્રણ આપું છું જીસીસીઆઈના પ્રમુખ અને એસ્ટ્રલ લિમિટેડના ચેરમેન અને મેનેજિંગ ડિરેક્ટર શ્રી સંદીપ એન્જિનિયર સાહેબને.
શ્રી હસમુખભાઈ સાહેબ, અજયજી અને હંસરાજજી, અહીંયા ઘણા બધા યંગસ્ટર્સ બેઠેલા છે. બે વસ્તુ ગ્લોબલ ઇકોનોમીમાં અગત્યની છે અને જે પણ કન્ટ્રી પ્રોગ્રેસ કર્યો છે એ લોકોએ પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવી પણ દુનિયા માટે બનાવી. ઘણી બધી પ્રોડક્ટ ડેવલપ થઈ રહી છે ઇન્ડિયામાં, ખાસ કરીને ગુજરાતમાં, અને ઘણી બધી પ્રોડક્ટો બનાવવાની જરૂરી છે. પણ ગુજરાત એક્સપોર્ટ માટે રેડી છે કે નહીં અને આપણે એક્સપોર્ટ માટે રેડી છે કે નહીં અને આપણી પ્રોડક્ટ એક્સપોર્ટ માટે રેડી છે કે નહીં, આ ત્રણ વચ્ચે બહુ અગત્યની વાત છે. ગમે ત્યારે તમે પ્રોડક્ટ્સ બનાવો, નવું સપનું જુઓ, ત્યારે એ પ્રોડક્ટ ઇન્ટરનેશનલ સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ્સ ઉપર ખરી ઉતરે એ ખૂબ અગત્યની છે. અને ઇન્ટરનેશનલ સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ્સ પર પ્રોડક્ટને આગળ લઈ જવા માટે ઇન્ડિયાએ ઘણું બધું કરવાનું છે. નાની નાની વસ્તુઓ છે પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવી, દેશમાં જ ડેવલપ કરવી, એના બેકવર્ડ ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ જે જોઈતા હોય એ પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવવા એ પણ ઇન્ડિયામાં ડેવલપ કરવા અને પછી એક્સપોર્ટ કરવી. આપણે ગુજરાતની વાત કરીએ તો ગુજરાત એક મેજર ગ્લોબલ અને ઇન્ડિયાનું હબ છે એક્સપોર્ટ. આપણે પાસે બેસ્ટ પોર્ટ્સ છે, ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ ફેસિલિટીઝ છે, એર કનેક્ટિવિટી છે અને ગુજરાતી આખા વર્લ્ડમાં ફેલાયેલો છે. ડાયમંડની એક્સપોર્ટ હોય, ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ્સની એક્સપોર્ટ હોય, કેમિકલની એક્સપોર્ટ હોય, મશીનરીની એક્સપોર્ટ હોય, ફિનિશ પ્રોડક્ટની એક્સપોર્ટ હોય અને નાની નાની પ્રોડક્ટની એક્સપોર્ટ હોય. તો ગુજરાત એક એવું સ્ટેટ છે જેની એન્ટરપ્રેન્યોરશિપ દરેક પ્રોડક્ટ થ્રુ પાસ થઈ રહી છે. એક જ વસ્તુ આપણે લેક કરીએ છીએ, આપણી સોફ્ટવેર ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી એ લેવલની નથી કે જે પ્રોડક્ટ્સ અહીંયા બનાવે અને વિશ્વ એને વાપરે. તો એ તરફ ઘણું બધું કામ ગુજરાતે કરવાનું છે. આપણી પાસે માઇક્રો એવી પ્રોડક્ટ્સ નથી કે જે ગ્લોબલી એક્સપોર્ટ થાય. આજે આપણો પડોશી દેશ જુઓ તો એનું વિકસિત દેશમાં એટલું બધું એક્સપોર્ટ્સ છે. ઇક્વલી આપણે પણ એ લોકો પાસે કેટલું બધું ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરીએ છીએ. નાની નાની પ્રોડક્ટો એ લોકો ડેવલપ કરે છે. રોજના યુઝમાં તમે ઇમેજિન ના કરો એવી બધી પ્રોડક્ટ તમને આજે જોવા મળે છે. તમે એમેઝોન પર જાઓ તો ઘણી બધી નવી પ્રોડક્ટો તમે મંગાવો ઘરે, તો એના મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ હબ જોજો કોનો છે, આપણા પડોશીનો નીકળશે. આપણે ઇવન નાનું કાપડ ઉદ્યોગમાં પણ આપણે એક્સપોર્ટ માટે ગુજરાતે ઘણું કામ કરવાનું છે. ફિનિશ ગાર્મેન્ટ્સ તમે જુઓ, આજે વિકસિત દેશમાં જઈને તમે 10 ફિનિશ ગાર્મેન્ટ્સ ઉપાડશો તો 1 કે 2 જ ઇન્ડિયાનું માણ હોય છે. તો ત્યાંથી તમારી જર્ની જે ચાલુ થશે આત્મનિર્ભરતાથી, અહીંથી બનાવો, અહીંયાથી બનાવી અને દુનિયાને મોકલો. અને ગુજરાત તો રેડી જ છે, ગુજરાત માટે ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર રેડી છે, પણ ગુજરાતની ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીને રેડી કરવાની જરૂર છે. ગુજરાતમાં એક્સપોર્ટ બેઝ જે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી છે એને એક ગ્લોબલ એક્સપોઝિશન કન્ટિન્યુઅસ આપવાનું છે. સિરામિકમાં આપણે આગળ છીએ એવું નથી કે નથી, ઘણી બધી પ્રોડક્ટમાં આપણે આગળ છે એક્સપોર્ટમાં. આપણે અમુક ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ્સમાં આગળ છીએ, આપણે ડાઇઝ એન્ડ કેમિકલ્સમાં આગળ છીએ, પણ તે છતાંય આપણે એક્સપોર્ટમાં ઇમ્પોર્ટ સામે નેગેટિવ ચાલે છે આ કન્ટ્રી. અને એ બહુ જ અગત્યનું છે. બેલેન્સ ઓફ દેટ ડેફિસિટ કરવા માટે ખૂબ જ એક્સપોર્ટમાં કામ કરવાનું છે. ટેકનોલોજી જે છે, નવી ટેકનોલોજી છે, એરોસ્પેસ બહુ આગળ આવશે. આવતા તમે સમજો કે 10 વર્ષનો દાયકો એરોસ્પેસનો હશે, અને એરોસ્પેસ પર ઘણું બધું કામ કરવાનું છે અહીંયા પ્રાઇવેટ સેક્ટરે. અને પ્રાઇવેટ સેક્ટર એરોસ્પેસ ઇક્વિપમેન્ટ્સ, એરોસ્પેસને લગતા, સેટેલાઇટને લગતા આપણી પાસે એટલું બધું નોલેજ છે, એટલે બધા આપણી પાસે સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ છે, ભણી રહ્યા છે. તો એ સ્ટુડન્ટ અને એમનું નોલેજ તમે વાપરીને આવા નવા જે આઈડિયાઝ છે, આજે કોઈએ ઇમેજિન કરેલું કે એરોસ્પેસ બિઝનેસ આપણા વિકસિત દેશનો એના પોતાની કન્ટ્રી કરતાં પણ મોટો ડેવલપ થઈ જશે. અને એરોસ્પેસ ટેકનોલોજીસ એટલી આગળ વધશે કે તમારી પાસે કનેક્ટિવિટી આખા ગ્લોબમાં એક જ નંબરથી, એક જ ફોનથી, એક જ કંપનીથી મળશે. તમે ઘણું બધું પ્રિડિક્શન્સ એરોસ્પેસથી કરી શકશો. આજથી કદાચ તમારી જનરેશન કે તમારા પછીની જનરેશન જે યંગસ્ટર બેઠા છે એનું કદાચ મૂન પર કે એરોસ્પેસમાં તમે તમારું વેકેશન કરવા જઈ શકશો, એટલે સુધી આગળ વધે છે. અત્યારે ઓલરેડી ઘણી કંપનીઓ તમને બહારની ઓર્બિટમાં લઈ જવાનું બુકિંગ ચાલુ કરી દીધેલું છે. $5 લાખ તમે સ્પેસમાં જાઓ અને સ્પેસથી પાછા આવો. અત્યારે 3 કે 4 વર્ષની એમાં લાઈન લાગેલી છે. એટલે ધ વિઝન ઓફ ઓલ ધી youngsters and the entrepreneurs of Gujarat need to create something very, very different and very innovative and be the part of the globe. વર્ષો પહેલાં મેં એક સેમિનાર કરેલો કે 10 things that change the world, how the world works. અને બધી જ વસ્તુઓ વિકસિત દેશની હતી. તમે એમેઝોન પકડો કે તમે નેટફ્લિક્સ પકડો કે તમે અત્યારે સ્પેસએક્સ પકડો કે તમે કોઈ પણ પ્રોડક્ટ પકડો. એટલે ઇન્ડિયામાં લેટેસ્ટ ક્રિએટ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ એન્ડ ન્યૂ જનરેશન શુડ ક્રિએટ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ વિચ કેન બી મેડ હિયર ફોર ધ વર્લ્ડ, ફોર ધ ગ્લોબ. એન્ડ ગુજરાત ઇઝ રેડી. ગુજરાત દરેક ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર પ્રોવાઈડ કરશે. ગુજરાત એક્સપોર્ટ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી એ પ્રોવાઈડ કરશે. ગુજરાત તમને બધી રીતની ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી પ્રોવાઈડ કરશે અને ગવર્મેન્ટનો સપોર્ટ પણ ગુજરાત લેવલે અને આપણને તો સેન્ટ્રલ લેવલે ખૂબ મળશે, કારણ કે આપણે ભાગ્યશાળી છે કે આપણને ગુજરાત લેવલે ભૂપેન્દ્રભાઈ સાહેબ છે ચીફ મિનિસ્ટર તરીકે, અને સેન્ટ્રલ લેવલે નરેન્દ્રભાઈ સાહેબ છે આપણા પ્રાઇમ મિનિસ્ટર તરીકે. તો આ રીતે આપણને જ્યારે આટલો બધો સાથ સહકાર મળે છે અને એટલું બધું ગુજરાત પાવર સેક્ટરમાં આગળ વધી રહ્યું છે અને બીજા બધા જ સેક્ટરમાં આગળ વધી રહ્યું છે, તો લેટ અસ ઓલ પુટ ટુગેધર, ક્રિએટ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ, ક્રિએટ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર એન્ડ ક્રિએટ ગ્લોબલ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ ફ્રોમ ગુજરાત. આપણે આપણી આત્મનિર્ભરતાથી બનાવીએ અને વિશ્વમાં મોકલીએ. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ.
Thank you, Sandeep Saib. Now, it is my privilege to welcome Ms. Ekaterina Estina. She is a representative of the Regional Center of Rosatom State Corporation in South Asia, and she would share her views on Atmanirbharta thoughts, advanced solution, energy, digital twins, and additive manufacturing. Please welcome Ekaterina Estina.
Good afternoon, everyone. Khet kibat mujhe bahut achhi tarah Gujarati nahi aati. So let me please speak English today. I was listening to you very carefully, and you have told really very, very important things that new generation needs to produce, needs to make something, to create. And that's really pretty much important. So today I would like to tell you just about several things that may be kind of tools that may be used in Gujarat, that may be used with this new generation, and be a good base actually. So basically, when discussing Atmanirbharta, nuclear energy could not be seen just only as a source of electricity, obviously. So it should be seen as strategic industrial platform that supports technological sovereignty, manufacturing development, high-skilled employment, and long-term economic growth. For Rosatom, Rosatom is a Russian state corporation which is in mostly nuclear business, so we build nuclear power plants. India is not just like a customer or a not just a power generation. For us, India is a great partner, is a great friend, and basically we bring large nuclear project together, and this project just bring many parts all together. I mean, engineering, some companies, equipment, digital solutions. We work as well with the universities for skill development, and it may be really a good driver to broaden some technological development. For example, one of our flagship project, and it's already in progress in India, in Kudankulam state, in Tamil Nadu state. The project's name is Kudankulam. It demonstrates how nuclear energy can become a catalyst for industrial development. So beyond providing some reliable low-carbon electricity, it creates long-term demand for engineering services, maintenance, technical training, some digital tools, and qualified specialists, of course. So nuclear power plant operates for decades, and its contribution goes far beyond the construction phase. So all of you know, I hope that India's ambitious target of reaching 100 gigawatt for nuclear capacity by 2047, which is already have been announced today, creates an opportunity not only of reaching this, this target, and to expand the clean energy generation, but also to accelerate the development of domestic industrial capabilities. So in this context, nuclear energy becomes an enabler to Atmanirbharta by supporting localization, technology transfer, skill development, and creation of high-value industrial jobs. Looking ahead, we see opportunities for cooperation across the entire nuclear value chain, advanced generation 3+ reactors, small modular reactors, which is a really hot topic, nuclear fuel technologies, digital solutions for asset management, workforce training and non-power applications such as nuclear medicine, for example, and isotope technologies. So for Gujarat in particular, with a strong manufacturing base, industrial clusters, ports, and growing demand for reliable clean energy, advanced nuclear technologies can support the next stage of this economic growth. Combined with digital twins, additive manufacturing, and other Industry 4.0 solutions, nuclear energy can really contribute to building these resilient and technologically advanced industries that are essential for India's long-term growth. So in this sense, nuclear energy is not just a simple casual energy project. It's a long-term investment in people, in technology, and of course local expertise. So Atmanirbharta is not only about producing more in India, it's about mastering critical technologies in India, and obviously nuclear energy is one of those technologies. Alongside advanced energy technologies, digitalization, of course, is becoming essential for making complex industries more efficient, reliable, and easy to manage. One of our group companies, which name is JET, actively develop digital twins for power generation facilities, for industrial enterprises, and critical infrastructure. A digital twin is much more than a visualization tool, basically. So it's a dynamic and virtual replica of a physical asset that combines engineering models, operational data, and predictive analytics to support informed decision-making through the entire life cycle of an asset. So in practical terms, digital twins helps companies understand what is happening with their equipment in real time, and they make it possible to test operating scenarios, predict equipment behavior, identify risks, and even find ways to improve performance before a decision is implemented in this physical world. So let's call it kind of predictive model. And for operations and industrial companies, this translates into some real business value. So fewer unexpected failure, low maintenance cost, better energy efficiency, and improved reliability and high safety, of course, which is the most important part. In energy generation projects, for example, digital twins support predictive maintenance, some optimization of operating modes, reduction of fuel consumption, and more effective asset management. So in the grid, reduction and this infrastructure, they improve network reliability and integrate enhanced load forecasting and supports long-term infrastructure planning, which is really pretty much important. So this is directly relevant to Atmanirbharta. So this digital twin helps organizing rely more on data, some local expertise, and their own ability to manage some complex infrastructure. So if nuclear just provides the foundation for industrial growth, digital twin relies and provides the intelligence, I mean the brain, and that allows this infrastructure to operate more efficiently, safely, and competitively, of course. And the third idea, basically, I would like to touch upon today is additive manufacturing, so which has become an important tool for industrial and technological self-reliance. By producing components directly, digital models, additive technologies make it possible to reduce production time, minimize material waste, and avoid complex tooling, and manufacturing customized part that could be difficult or expensive somehow to produce using some traditional methods. So for companies, that means that faster innovation, greater flexibility, and of course more opportunities to make complex products locally. So altogether, these advanced technologies, energy, digital technologies, and additive manufacturing can help build stronger and more flexible manufacturing base. So Atmanirbharta is built not around a single technology. It is built around the ability to generate reliable energy, manage complex systems intelligently, and turn ideas into high-value products. Reliable energy provides the foundation. Digital technologies provide intelligence, and advanced manufacturing provides the ability to transform ideas into the products. Together, these technologies create the conditions for sustainable industrial growth and long-term competitiveness of this wonderful state, Gujarat. Jai Rus, Jai Hind, Jai Gujarat. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Ekaterina, for your valuable words. Now, હવે હું આમંત્રિત કરું છું ભારત સરકારના વાણિજ્ય અને ઉદ્યોગ મંત્રાલયના એડિશનલ સેક્રેટરી શ્રી અજય ભાદુ સાહેબને.
થેન્ક યુ. So before I yes. What we are going to discuss here is that imports to indigenous value chains, how does it affect our industrial and trade strategy? લાસ્ટ 12 years, છેલ્લા 12 વર્ષના તમે જે આંકડા જુઓ તો ઇમ્પોર્ટ વર્સેસ એક્સપોર્ટ એ પ્રકારના આપણા આંકડા કોમોડિટીઝ એક્સપોર્ટ્સના છે, ઇમ્પોર્ટ એન્ડ એક્સપોર્ટના છે. એન્ડ યુ કેન સી દેટ દેર ઇઝ અબાઉટ $333 billion deficit as far as the commodity balance is concerned. And deficit was high but stabilized in pre-COVID, significantly increased further in the post-COVID period. અત્યારે આજની વાત કરીએ તો આપણા એક્સપોર્ટ્સ જે છે આ વર્ષે we had done 863 billion export, which is the all-time export of all years in the recent past. Not only it is all-time high of the all exports, but in the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 चार quarters जो FY26 के थे, in all those 4 quarters, all quarters have recorded the all-time export high of the last 10-15 years. So we have consistently performed. It is not a seasonality that one quarter just export jumped or something. So as we are now have started producing competitive goods for exporting, this is the time when we should look at what is the import basket. કે જે import basket છે એને આપણે કેવી રીતે સબસ્ટિટ્યૂટ કરી શકીએ અને કેવી રીતે આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ બાસ્કેટમાંથી ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી શોધી શકીએ. નોન પેટ્રોલ એન્ડ નોન જેમ્સ જ્વેલરી આપણે અગર કાઢી દઈએ, so this is the trend. So I will straight away come to some of the things. So this is the commodity lens of India's merchandise imports. કઈ કઈ કોમોડિટી છે કે જે આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરતા હોઈએ છીએ. You can see the top is chapter 27, mineral fuels and oil. This is oil basically. Then followed by chapter 71, which is the pearls, precious and semi-precious stones. This is again a gold import basically, which goes into our jewelry making and all that. Number 3 is chapter 85, which is a big chapter, but therein we have electrical machine and equipment. There also is a lot of import which is going on for making of our exports in some of the electronic items which we are exporting now. For example, mobile phones we are exporting in a big way now. So that's a success story. Another is the machinery import, which goes into our industrial production, organic chemicals, plastics, and all of these are our top import as far as the commodity broad group is concerned. Now, I have also given the sources of the import sources of all these commodities for mineral oils to electric machine equipment. You can see in chapter 25 the largest source is China, 44%, which goes to show that all our electric machinery and equipment, almost half of it is based on the imports from China. So that is where the vulnerability lies, and that is where the opportunity lies. એની અંદર આપણી પાસે એને આપણે માટે એક વલરેબિલિટી પણ છે અને આપણે માટે એક અવસર પણ છે. I will go to the next slide. This is the country lens. આપણે countries પ્રમાણે જોઈએ કે કઈ કઈ કન્ટ્રીમાંથી આપણી પાસે ઇમ્પોર્ટ આવે છે. So this is China is of course on top,
17% of our import is constituted by what we get from China, followed by UAE, Russia. UAE, Russia is majorly oil and energy and hydrocarbon and petrochem imports for. So these are imports which we require. Then USA, there is a lot of technology imports. Saudi Arabia, again, of course, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, again, of course, is energy imports. Hong Kong and Ireland and Singapore, these are all, particularly Hong Kong is basically re-export hub. It is a proxy to China. And other one is Switzerland, which is again export, which are high technology exports. Singapore again is to a large extent re-export hub. And Japan again is a technology export. So these are the country lens of the export, top 10 countries which are there for our import baskets. આપણે સેક્ટર વાઇઝ વાત કરીએ કે આપણા ઇમ્પોર્ટ સેક્ટર વાઇઝ કેવી રીતે સ્ટેન્ડ થાય છે. સો ઇમ્પોર્ટ કન્સન્ટ્રેશન જે માર્કેટ સ્પ્રેડ પ્રમાણે આપણે જોઈએ તો એગ્રીકલ્ચરથી માંડીને બધા બીજા સેક્ટર્સની અંદર આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટનો માર્કેટ સ્પ્રેડ કર્યો છે કે કેવી રીતે આપણે નંબર ઓફ ઇમ્પોર્ટ્સ કેટલા છે અને નંબર ઓફ કન્ટ્રીઝ કેટલો છે. તો હાયર ધ નંબર ઓફ કન્ટ્રીઝ ધ હાયર ધ માર્કેટ સ્પ્રેડ એન્ડ ધ લેસ ઇઝ અવર વલ્નરેબિલિટી. એટલે આપણે માનો ખાલી 2-3 કન્ટ્રીઝ સાથે જ ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરતા હોઈએ જે આપણને ચોક કરી શકે છે. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ ચાઇના હમણાં જ રેર અર્થ મેટલ જે રેર અર્થ મેગ્નેટ્સ હોય છે 90%થી વધારે ચાઇનાનો માર્કેટ શેર છે વર્લ્ડ ઓવર. અને બધી જ કન્ટ્રીને એણે એક્સપોર્ટ બેન કરીને ચોક કરવાની ધમકી આપેલી કે ભાઈ અમે એના ઉપર એક્સપોર્ટ કંટ્રોલ કરીશું અને there are certain trade issues which you don't resolve, so China will not supply you the rare earth magnets. તો આપણો જેટલો સ્પ્રેડ હોય નંબર ઓફ કન્ટ્રીઝ હોય એટલા આપણા માટે એક્સપોર્ટ સારો. તો there are countries where there are so many number of countries where so many countries are there, and then there are areas where there are lesser number of countries. So that is where the import is. Now if we see the policy and strategy lens of India's merchandise exports, so what we see is that there are exports which are necessary imports which are necessary imports. For example, crude petroleum and products, coking coal and coal products, and gold and silver. So these are the sectors where we are importing because there is no other alternative, we have to import. Second is the category where inputs are imported for manufacturing of our own industry. These are electronics components, critical raw materials, active pharmaceutical ingredients, chemicals and petrochemicals, capital goods and machinery, and fertilizer and raw materials. These are imports which are directly feeding into our industrial production. એટલે એ ઇમ્પોર્ટ અત્યારે આપણે પાસે આપણે લાવવા પડે. ભવિષ્યમાં આપણે એના માટે અગર આપણે ડોમેસ્ટિકલી પ્રોડ્યુસ કરી શકીએ then we can move on to the value chain. Then there are domestic production opportunity products which are there in food and agriculture, and I'll give you some sectors which are identified: electronics and telecom, metal and metal products, plastic and glass, and additional categories. And then there is another lens, the strategic lens, where there is a huge dependency on China, for example, electric equipment, machinery, organic chemicals, plastics, where there is a dependency on the China. So this is one of those things where we are trying to analyze how many items are there which have more than 20% share in the import basket, and more than 50% of it is from the single source. So that is how we have calculated the vulnerability, etc. So this is again bilateral. If you look at China-India data, this is the imports from China and these are the exports from China. I'll give you the latest data. This is last year. Latest data is 151 billion import to China and about 30 billion exports to China. So still we are running about 120 billion of deficit. So with the China, which is going to be there in this particular year. So you can see there is a widening gap. Our exports are also increasing, but they are increasing at a very low pace, whereas China's exports to India are increasing at a higher pace. એ સ્વાભાવિક એટલા માટે પણ છે કે જેમ જેમ આપણી ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ પ્રોગ્રેસ થતી જાય છે એની અંદર જેટલો કેપિટલ મશીનરી, જેટલી ઇનપુટ, જેટલા ઇન્ટરમીડિયેટ ગુડ ચાઇનાથી આવે એટલે કારણે એનો ઇમ્પોર્ટ ઇન્ટેન્સિટી પણ વધતી જાય છે. કમ્પેરિઝનમાં આપણે G20 કન્ટ્રીઝ સાથે કમ્પેર કરીએ કે કોનો કેટલો ડિપેન્ડન્સ છે તો ઇન્ડિયા કમ્સ એટ 16.62%. compared to Indonesia, where 36.19 are from China, Australia 26.2, Japan 23.59, United States is 9.349. So you can see the comparison where we stand compared to other countries. Everybody is importing from China. બધા ચાઇના પાસેથી ખરીદતા જ હોય છે. ચાઇના ઇઝ ધ વર્લ્ડ્સ ફેક્ટરી અને દે આર ડોમિનેટિંગ ઇટ એન્ડ સમટાઈમ્સ મિસયુઝિંગ ઇટ ઓલ્સો. એટલે એનામાં આપણી શું પોઝિશન છે, ઇન્ડિયાનો શેર કેટલો છે, એ એક એનો ચિત્ર છે. આપણે HS કોડ 2 એટલે બ્રોડ કેટેગરી વાઇઝ આપણે જોઈએ તો ચાઇનામાં સૌથી વધારે આપણે જે ચેપ્ટર 85માં 35% ડિપેન્ડન્સી, મશીનરીમાં ઓર્ગેનિક કેમિકલ્સ, પ્લાસ્ટિક, વ્હીકલ્સ, optical or medical instruments, aluminum, articles of iron and steel, fertilizers and miscellaneous chemical products. So these are the China dependency areas, moti. So these are the areas we need to work in if we really want to compete with China, if we really want to challenge China and આપણે એની પાસે dependency અગર ઓછી કરવી હોય તો these are the broad categories where we should be working. This is the overview. I'll just skip this. Top 10 import items by value from China. So તમે જો telephone set, smartphones, part others. So our smartphone story still it is an unfolding story in the sense that lot of smartphone equipments are now being imported. We are of course now becoming a major force in the smartphone exports. આપણે એપલ એક્સપોર્ટ્સ અત્યારે એપલ ફોન એક્સપોર્ટ ગલ્ફ અને બધી જગ્યા US વગેરે બધી જગ્યા કરીએ છીએ, પણ એની અંદર ઘણો બધું ઇમ્પોર્ટ એલિમેન્ટ છે, ઇમ્પોર્ટ ઇન્ટેન્સિટી ઇઝ ધેર. સો વી હેવ ટુ રિયલી ગો ડાઉન ધ ગો અપ ધ વેલ્યુ ચેન. અને આપણે અત્યારે ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક્સ ઇક્વિપમેન્ટ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ સ્કીમ જે ભારત સરકાર લઈને આવી છે મેટી, એમાં એકચ્યુઅલી ઓબ્જેક્ટિવ એ છે કે કેવી રીતે આપણે અપ ધ વેલ્યુ ચેન જઈને વેલ્યુ ચેનમાં વધારે કેપ્ચર કરીએ. ખાલી આપણે સ્માર્ટફોનની પણ એની ઉપરની વેલ્યુ ચેન પણ ધીરે ધીરે કેપ્ચર કરી, જેથી કરીને ચાઇનાની જે આપણી પાસે એક્સપોર્ટ છે અને આપણી જે ઇમ્પોર્ટ ઇન્ટેન્સિટી છે ઓછી થાય. ડેટા પ્રોસેસિંગ મશીન, ઓટોમેટિક, ધીસ ઇઝ ઓલ્સો કમ્પ્યુટર. lithium ion accumulators, you can see 83.62% import share from China. આપણે EV ની બધી વાત કરીએ છીએ, this is the import dependency on China. એટલે આપણે એ એરિયા એવું છે કે ગંભીર એરિયા છે કે જે આપણે વર્ક કરીએ છીએ, આપણે વર્ક કરવું પડશે. ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક્સ ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ સર્કિટ અગેન 33%. You can see that there is now APIs are not coming here, and why they are not coming here I'll tell you. So this actually demands a totally new framework. We have to also look at the geopolitical fragmentation, US-China trade war, choke point vulnerability are there, not just China, Taiwan Strait, Strait of Hormuz, Red Sea crisis, India's opportunity. એટલે આપણે ટૂંકમાં ડાયવર્સિફાઈ કરવું પડે એક્સપોર્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટ સોર્સ, અને આપણે ડિપેન્ડન્સી ઘટાડવાના બે મેથડ હોઈ શકે છે. એક આપણે પોતે બનાવીએ એ વસ્તુને સ્વયં બનાવીએ, ઇન્ડિયામાં બનાવીએ, and second is we diversify the sources. These are choke points, everybody knows them. તમે છાપાઓ વગેરે વાંચતા જ હશો. These are the choke points. Some of them are right now being played out. Strait of Hormuz just sometimes હવે કદાચ ફિનિશ થઈ ગયો છે, પણ અત્યારે 2 દિવસ પહેલા સુધી તો ચાલતી જ હતી. But these are all other choke points which are there in the world which can erupt any time. These are the how trade policy is becoming weapons, so I'll not go into this geopolitical part of it. So these are necessary imports, industrial imports and domestic production opportunity. These are the three categories basically that I look at it. I will leave the necessary import. Second category, industrial imports would require a longer term in terms of R&D, in terms of product developments, in terms of collaboration. Immediate opportunity is in the domestic production opportunity, which is now, which is food and agri, electronics and telecom, metal and metal products, and I have listed few categories in that. These are the just three examples I wanted to talk about as far as the how we can do. One is mobile phones, which is basically there was the amount of dependency was 78%, and then 10x export jump in 5 years. So now it's about 24-25 billion. હમણાં જ સાહેબને પૂછતા હતા કેટલામાં નંબર પર છે, but at least this is the top 10 exports now from India. Sir, another success story is the bulk drug exports. 70% of our API share was from China, and there was a trade deficit of 1930 crore. And 35 plus APIs were such which were unavailable domestically. Still, there are a lot of APIs which are unavailable domestically. This has been turned around, and now we have a trade surplus of 280 crore as far as the API bulk drugs are concerned. 83% domestic value addition is being done, and about 56,679 metric ton capacity has been created now in the APIs also, where there was a lot of vulnerability, which was a very strong choke point for us. Third is the defense equipment, sir. India has been known to be the defense importer for a long time. 40 to 60% import reliance was there, and 74,000 crore domestic buy was there, and 168 items we used to import from this. But now there is a 30x time exports growth in last 10 years. And after 24-25, we are about 68% capital from domestic, 1.27 lakh crore local buy is being done. 500 plus items are reserved for local buying from India. So this is a Atmanirbharta story. And 30 times defense export has grown now. And 85 plus countries are importing Indian defense equipments, Indian defense products now. So this is another success story that has been played out. Similar stories can be played out in other sectors as well if we just seize the opportunity. These are the 19 identified sector product groups which are being identified by the DPIT and ministry, where our present capacities as such show that we can produce. Still we are importing for some reason or the other, because there are small issues, for example, testing labs, for example, some of the QCOs or some of the other areas, by which if we remove these things, and the ministry is working for removing all of these things, where we can easily start manufacturing domestically rather than importing. So these are those areas. This only forms a very small portion of our imports, but this is a good start. And of course, where there is a criticality and where there is a critical dependence, we would require a harder work in terms of developing that technology, in terms of developing that the value chain, so that we can start exporting. So important thing is, if we talk about export, Gujarat is starting from a position of strength. We have a large concentration of commercial plots, industrial cluster, manufacturing base, entrepreneurial culture, global diaspora, and high export orientation. But we have to also realize that as far as export competitiveness is concerned, it has actually evolved now. હવે આપણે ખાલી ચીપ લેબર, લો કોસ્ટ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ, પોર્ટ કનેક્ટિવિટી એની બધી વાતો નથી કરતા. દેટ ઇઝ અ ઓલ્ડ સ્ટોરી. અત્યારે આપણે વાત કરીએ છીએ સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ્સની, કે કયા સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ્સનું આપણે પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવી શકીએ, સસ્ટેનેબિલિટીની, ડિજિટલ કમ્પ્લાયન્સની, સપ્લાય ચેન રિઝિલિયન્સની, કે આપણા પાર્ટ્સ એની આપણે how integrated we are in the global supply chain, આપણી માર્કેટ ઇન્ટેલિજન્સ કેવી છે, આપણી સ્પીડ માર્કેટને કેપ્ચર કરવાની કેટલી છે. Those are the areas which are actually going to be the determinant fact. FTAs, I will not talk about them. You all know that India is doing FTAs with a great speed. UK, EU, EFTA, Oman, New Zealand, Australia, we have done so many of them. The idea, however, is to basically exploit those. Another thing that I want to say, one more thing about the export is, we should be looking to export exporting not just the products, but we should be looking at exporting value rather than product. Just for example, આપણે બલ્ક કેમિકલ અત્યારે બડોદામાં બેઠા છીએ, બલ્ક કેમિકલ એક્સપોર્ટની જગ્યા આપણે ધીમે ધીમે મૂવ આઉટ કરવો જોઈએ સ્પેશિયાલિટી કેમિકલ તરફ. So that is exporting value. દીપક નાઇટ્રેટ અને રિપ્રેઝેન્ટેટિવ બેઠા છે અહીંયા. ડાયમંડની જગ્યા આપણે અગર બ્રાન્ડેડ જ્વેલરી કરીએ, લેબ ગ્રોલ્ડ ડાયમંડ કરીએ, સ્માર્ટ જ્વેલરી કરીએ, તો દેટ ઇઝ લાઇક એક્સપોર્ટિંગ વેલ્યુ રાધર દેન એક્સપોર્ટિંગ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ. કોટન ટેક્સટાઇલની જગ્યા આપણે અગર મેડિકલ ટેક્સટાઇલ, ટેકનિકલ ટેક્સટાઇલ ઓર સસ્ટેનેબલ ટેક્સટાઇલના નામે વેલ્યુ ક્રિએટ કરીએ, that is what is required. Actually, world is moving towards value export rather than just commodity export, because commodity export માં શું, they are not the price commander. તમે price command કરી શકતા નથી, અને કોઈ પણ કારણે અગર તમારો પ્રોડક્ટ फ्लॉप થઈ જાય, अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट पिट जाएगा तो फिर उसके बाद में आपका सारा बिजनेस उसमें क्रैश हो जाता है. So this is why we need to create value. That is the key to increase the export competitiveness. I think I have covered most of the point. Rest of the point, if there are any question and answer, I have so many data, so I can give you all the answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Badhu sir, for your sharing valuable insights on India's evolving trade and industrial strategy. હવે હું ગુજરાતના માનનીય મુખ્યમંત્રીશ્રીના મુખ્ય સલાહકાર, ભૂતપૂર્વ કેન્દ્રીય નાણાં સચિવ અને જીએસટીના મુખ્ય શિલ્પી ડૉક્ટર હસમુખ અડિયા સાહેબને આમંત્રણ આપું છું કે આપણને માર્ગદર્શન અને વિચારો પ્રકટ કરે.
આ બાજુના લોકોને થોડો વધારે લાભ મળે એટલા માટે. મારા સાથી પેનલિસ્ટ, સૌ સભ્યશ્રીઓ અને અમારા પછીની જે પેનલ છે એમાં જે સ્પીકર છે સૌ મિત્રો, ઇમ્પોર્ટને બંધ કરવાથી આત્મનિર્ભરતા નથી આવી જતી. ખાલી ઇમ્પોર્ટને આપણે બ્લોક કરીએ કે ભાઈ આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરવા જ નથી દેવું, એને કારણે કે આત્મનિર્ભરતા નહીં આવે. દેશની જે જરૂરિયાતો છે એને પૂરી કરવા માટેની ઇકોસિસ્ટમ આપણે ત્યાં વિકસાવવાનું કામ કરવું, એનું નામ આત્મનિર્ભરતા છે. અજય બાદુએ બહુ સરસ લિસ્ટ તમને બધાને આપેલું છે. એની જે છેલ્લી સ્લાઇડ હતી, A થી S આઇટમ, એ બધી આઇટમ એવી છે કે જે એમણે આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરેલી છે કે જેમાં ગુજરાતના સાહસિકો જો પ્રોડક્શન શરૂ કરે અથવા તો એમાં કોઈ વેન્ચર કરે તો એમાં પૂરેપૂરી શક્યતા છે એમને સફળતા મળવાની. કારણ કે આ બધી આઇટમ અત્યારે ઇમ્પોર્ટ થઈ રહી છે અને દેશમાં બનતી નથી. અને એ જ આઇટમ જો તમે વિદેશમાંથી આયાત થાય છે એના કરતાં ઓછા ભાવે અને સારી ગુણવત્તાની ગુજરાતમાં જ જો પેદા કરી શકો, ઉત્પન્ન કરી શકો, તો આત્મનિર્ભરતા આવી શકે. આ પ્રશ્ન મુખ્ય છે. મિત્રો, 3 વસ્તુ જરૂર હોય છે આત્મનિર્ભર બનાવવા માટે. ઇમ્પોર્ટને સબસ્ટિટ્યૂટ કરવા અને દેશની અંદર કોઈ પણ આઇટમ બનાવવા માટે 3 વસ્તુ જરૂરી હોય છે. સૌથી પહેલું, ગવર્મેન્ટની નીતિ. ગવર્મેન્ટે એવી નીતિ અપનાવવી જોઈએ કે જેને કારણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરવાને ડિસ્કરેજમેન્ટ મળે અને ડોમેસ્ટિક પ્રોડક્શન એ આઇટમનું કરવા માટેનું ઉત્તેજન મળે. એ પ્રકારની નીતિ સરકારે ઘડવી જોઈએ. બીજું, ઉદ્યોગોની પણ જરૂર હોય છે અને ઉદ્યોગ સાહસિકોએ પણ એમની પાસેથી પણ એક અપેક્ષા હોય છે કે માત્ર ચીલાચાલુ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરીને બાપ દાદાની જે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી છે, ટેક્સટાઇલ છે કે ડાયમંડ છે કે કેમિકલ છે, એમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટ કર્યાને બદલે કંઈક નવું કરવાની અપેક્ષા રાખે, થોડું રિસ્ક લે, થોડું કેપિટલ ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરે આવી બધી આઇટમમાં, તો આપણને સફળતા મળે અને એમાં એમને પ્રોફિટ પણ વધારે મળવાનો છે. આ બીજી વસ્તુ. એક સરકાર, બીજો ઉદ્યોગ, અને ત્રીજા નંબરે મહત્ત્વ છે ટેકનોલોજી. જે સંદીપ એન્જિનિયરે વાત કરી કે ટેકનોલોજીનું મહત્ત્વ બહુ છે. આપણા દેશમાં કેટલી બધી એવી વસ્તુ છે કે જેની ટેકનોલોજી ઉપલબ્ધ જ નથી, માટે આપણે બહારથી ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરવી પડે. આજે જે લિસ્ટ ઓફ ઇમ્પોર્ટ છે એમાં એમણે જે બતાવ્યું એમાં સૌથી વધારે એ જ છે કે કોઈ પણ વસ્તુનું ઉત્પાદન કરવા માટેની મશીનરી આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરવી પડે છે. ટેક્સટાઇલ મશીનરી પણ અત્યાર સુધી તો બહુ બધી ટેક્સટાઇલ મશીનરી પણ ઇમ્પોર્ટ થતી હતી, હવે આપણે ત્યાં પણ બને છે. પણ આ સૌથી વધારે અગત્યની વસ્તુ છે ટેકનોલોજી. હવે ટેકનોલોજી શોધી કાઢવી, ટેકનોલોજીનો પાર્ટનર શોધી કાઢવો, ટેકનોલોજી કઈ દેશમાં છે એ શોધી કાઢવું, એ તમારા બધાનું કામ છે, ઉદ્યોગ સાહસિકોનું કામ છે એ કરવું. પણ ઇમ્પોર્ટ સબસ્ટિટ્યુશનની અથવા તો આત્મનિર્ભરની એક જે સક્સેસ સ્ટોરી એમણે 3ની વાત કરી, એમાંથી એક જે સ્ટોરી મોબાઈલ ફોનની છે એ બહુ સ્પેક્ટેક્યુલર છે. મોબાઈલ ફોનની સ્ટોરી 2014માં આખા ભારતમાં આપણે જે કંઈ ફોન વાપરતા હતા એનું ઉત્પાદન હતું 18,000 કરોડનું ખાલી 2014માં. અને છેલ્લા વર્ષમાં 2025-26માં અને બાકીનું બધું ઇમ્પોર્ટ થતું હતું. એટલે ત્યારે લગભગ 18-20% આપણે પોતે ઉત્પાદન કરતા હતા અને 80% ઇમ્પોર્ટ થતા હતા. આઈફોન કે પછી એન્ડ્રોઈડ ટેકનોલોજીના ફોન બધા ઇમ્પોર્ટ થતા હતા. 2025-26માં આજે 6 લાખ કરોડનું ઉત્પાદન છે મોબાઈલ ફોનનું, અને એમાંથી 2.5 લાખ કરોડનું એક્સપોર્ટ કરીએ છીએ. પહેલાં આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરતા હતા, એના કરતાં 2.5 લાખ કરોડનું એટલે કે લગભગ 45% ઉત્પાદનના આપણે એક્સપોર્ટ પણ કરીએ છીએ. એ સક્સેસ સ્ટોરી કેવી રીતે શક્ય બની એનો હું સાક્ષી છું. કારણ કે આ ત્યારે બન્યું 2014 પછી કે જ્યારે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી સાથે મળીને ગવર્મેન્ટે એક સ્ટ્રેટેજી અપનાવી. એ સ્ટ્રેટેજી જે છે એનું નામ છે ફેઝડ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ પ્રોગ્રામ, PMP પ્રોગ્રામ અપનાવેલો હતો, જેમાં ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી સાથે એક બેઠક કરી અને નક્કી કરેલું કે આપણે કેવી રીતે આમ આગળ વધવું છે. તો એમાં 2 વસ્તુ છે. એક તો સૌથી પહેલાં તમારે ફાઇનલ પ્રોડક્ટ ઉપર ટેક્સ નાખવો પડે વધારે. એટલે રેવન્યુ સેક્રેટરી તરીકે એમાં મારો રોલ હતો કે જે મોબાઈલ ફોન જે ડાયરેક્ટ બનાવેલો આપણે ઇમ્પોર્ટ કરીએ બનેલો, એના ઉપર આપણે વધારે ઇમ્પોર્ટ ડ્યુટી નાખવી પડે. પણ એટ ધ સેમ ટાઈમ એમાં જે બધા સ્પેર પાર્ટ વપરાય છે એ 90% સ્પેર પાર્ટ મોટાભાગના ઇમ્પોર્ટ થતા હોય છે. તો એ 90% સ્પેર પાર્ટ ઉપરની ડ્યુટી ઓછી કરવી પડે કે જેથી ફાઇનલ એસેમ્બલિંગ એટલીસ્ટ ઇન્ડિયામાં થાય. ત્યાર પછી બીજા વર્ષે 90% સ્પેર પાર્ટમાંથી પણ 20%-25% એવા હોય કે જે ઇન્ડિયામાં બનાવી શકાય, એના ઉપર ટેક્સ નાખવાનો. ત્યાર પછી ત્રીજા વર્ષે બીજા 25% સ્પેર પાર્ટ ઉપર ટેક્સ નાખવાનો. એ રીતે કરી અને ઇન્ડિયામાં એન્કરેજમેન્ટ આપ્યું. અને એની સાથે સાથે પ્રોડક્શન લિંક્ડ ઇન્સેન્ટિવ, આપ સૌ જાણો છો કે પ્રોડક્શનના પ્રમાણમાં સરકાર સબસિડી આપે છે. એ ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ માટે થઈને આ જે સબસિડીની સ્કીમ આવી, એ બંને વસ્તુ સાથે કરવાથી આટલી જબરદસ્ત, અને આજની તારીખે આપણે જે ફોન યુઝ કરીએ છીએ ઇન્ડિયામાં એ 100માંથી 99.5% ફોન બધા અહીંયા જ બને છે. માત્ર 0.5% જે ફોન છે આપણા સ્માર્ટફોન એ કદાચ ઇમ્પોર્ટ થતા હશે. તો આ અત્યારની સ્થિતિ છે. બહુ મોટી સક્સેસ સ્ટોરી આમાં આપણને મળે છે. મારી આપ સૌને વિનંતી છે, આપે કદાચ સવારના સેશનમાં ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ ઇન્સેન્ટિવ પોલિસીની વાત સાંભળી. બહુ જબરદસ્ત ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી છે. આપ વિચાર કરો કે તમારી પ્રોડક્શન કરવા માટેની જે કેપિટલ કોસ્ટ છે ઉદ્યોગને નાખવા માટેની, એ કેપિટલ કોસ્ટના 30-35-40% સુધી સબસિડી તમને સરકાર આપે. 40% સુધીની સબસિડી. એટલે તમારું રિસ્ક કેટલું ઓછું થઈ જાય. અને રિસ્ક ઓછું કરવા માટેની આખી સિસ્ટમ છે. ગુજરાતે બેસ્ટ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ પોલિસીની જાહેરાત કરેલી છે. અને અત્યારના હવે મોકો છે આપ સૌ માટે, ખાસ કરીને યંગ એન્ટરપ્રિન્યોર્સ માટે, કે આપ સૌ, જેમ સંદીપભાઈએ કહ્યું કે 2003ના વાઇબ્રન્ટમાં એણે MOU કરેલું, આજે ઉદ્યોગપતિ બનીને અહીંયા આપની સામે બેઠા છે. એ રીતે તમારામાંથી પણ કેટલા બધા યુવાનો જે છે એ આ વાઇબ્રન્ટની વાત સાંભળીને, આ વાઇબ્રન્ટની ચર્ચા બધી સાંભળીને એક દિવસ પોતાનો ઉદ્યોગ બનાવશે અને એમાં આગળ વધશે. આપ સૌને મારી શુભેચ્છા. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ.
થેન્ક યુ ઓડિયા સાહેબ આપના વિચારો બદલ. હવે આપણે મેઇન કાર્યક્રમ જે છે જેમાં પેનલ ડિસ્કશન છે એ કાર્યક્રમ તરફ આપણે આગળ વધીએ છીએ. તો હું ડિગ્નેટરીઝને એક નમ્ર વિનંતી કરીશ કે એ મંચની સામે આપની સીટ ગ્રહણ કરી લે અને પેનલ ડિસ્કશન આપણે ટૂંક સમયમાં ચાલુ કરીએ છીએ. હવે ફર્સ્ટ ઓફ ઓલ, it gives me immense pleasure to extend my heartfelt welcome to our distinguished moderator for today's panel discussion. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our distinguished moderator for today's panel discussion, Dr. Sunil R. Parekh, who is a senior industry veteran, founder member of Vibrant Gujarat 2002 and strategic advisor to Zydus Group and Jubilant Bhartiya Group. Please welcome Dr. Sunil Parekh sir. સુનિલ પારેખ સાહેબને હું કહીશ કે હવે મંચ આપના હવાલે. Now I would request our esteemed panelist, Mr. Gaurav Mode, who is business leader, non-automotive OEM sales, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. Please welcome Gaurav Mode. I would welcome Dr. Yogendra Chauhan, sir, President, Advanced Material, Deepak Chemicals Tech Limited. Please welcome Dr. Yogendra Chauhan, sir. I would also welcome Mr. Ravi Mittal, Director Manufacturing, GSW MG Motors. Please welcome Ravi Mittal, sir. I would also welcome Mr. Rahul Jitendra Shah, who is a Group MD, LP Group. Please welcome Rahul Jitendra Shah, sir. I would also welcome Mr. Rakesh Dwivedi, Country Head, High Voltage Product, Hitachi Energy. Please welcome Rakesh Dwivedi, sir. I would also welcome Dr. Prashant Sihora, GM, Works Farmson Basic Drugs Private Limited. Please welcome Dr. Prashant. I would welcome Mr. Manish Tibrewal, CEO and Director, Falcon Agrifish Foods Private Limited. Please welcome Mr. Manish Tibrewal. I would welcome Mr. Subhag Ankolia, who is a founder and chairman, PR&D Metal and Magnets Private Limited. Please welcome Subhag ji. Further, I would welcome Mr. Sunil Dave, who is a managing director, BC Instruments India Private Limited. Please welcome Mr. Sunil Dave. Also, I would welcome Mr. Girish Agrawal, who is the founder, Raghuveer Biofuel Energy LLP. Please welcome Mr. Girish Agrawal. I am. હવે હું શ્રી પાવાગઢી સાહેબને નમ્ર વિનંતી કરીશ કે પુષ્પગુચ્છથી શ્રી ગૌરવ મોડ સાહેબનું સ્વાગત કરે. Mr. Gaurav Mode, please welcome Mr. Gaurav Mode, sir. પાવગાડી સાહેબને નમ્ર વિનંતી કે ડૉક્ટર યોગેન્દ્ર ચૌહાણ સાહેબનું સ્વાગત કરે. Now please welcome Mr. Ravi Mittal, sir. I would request to welcome Mr. Rahul Jitendra Shah. We would welcome Mr. Rakesh Dwivedi. We would welcome Dr. Prashant Sihora. Further, we would welcome Mr. Manish Tibrewal. We would welcome Mr. Subhag Ankolia. Further, we would welcome Mr. Sunil Dave. Now we would welcome Mr. Girish Agrawal. અને મેઇન હવે આ પેનલના સૂત્ર સંચાલન કરનાર આપણા જાણીતા ઉદ્યોગ વ્યૂહ રચનાકાર નીતિ વિશેષજ્ઞ વાયબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત 2002ના સ્થાપક સભ્ય ડૉક્ટર સુનિલ પારેખ સાહેબ, એમની જોરદાર તાળીઓથી સ્વાગત કરીએ. સુનિલ પારેખ સાહેબ જે છે પેનલ ડિસ્કશનમાં જે છે મંચ સુનિલ પારેખ સાહેબના હાથમાં છે. Now I would request Dr. Sunil Parekh sir.
Dear friends, it's good to be here. Every 2 years since 2003, we've been doing Vibrant Gujarat. और ये जो regional conferences शुरू की है, उसमें it is such a pleasure to meet local industries who otherwise would not have found a place in coming to the single event that used to take place in Gandhinagar. So congratulations to the government of Gujarat for regionalizing the conference and building the momentum in various parts of Gujarat on such a grand scale. First of all, let me begin with the fact that today's discussion is very important and current. We have a new economic environment where the framework of rule-based WTO has now broken. Even the supply chains which were traditionally there, they have also been changed. And at the same time, we have an unpredictability of tariffs, which is also affecting the competitiveness of Gujarat's industry, which used to depend upon various sources for both supplies as well as for markets. And this actually creates major issues of how the whole transformation has taken place in a short period, starting with January, when Trump Baba decided to do all the things all of a sudden, and then continuously without leaving us in continuous state of unpredictability throughout this entire year. The issue of dependence on China is also a very important issue that Mr. Badhu raised. And I think any discussion on competitiveness of Gujarat has to take into account India's and Gujarat's relationship with China. And I think this requires a very careful study. And therefore, in my view, it calls for a bigger and more proactive roles for the government today, especially when we are doing new FTAs, new bilateral treaties, and in different trade deals to uphold the interest of the domestic manufacturer while not giving away too much to the other country on the other side. Today we have seen, and nobody is willing to admit it loud and clear, but the FTAs are not working for India. Our Indian exporters have really not been able to take the advantage. और बाहर से आयात इतना हो रहा है FTA के साथ. So our trade imbalance has actually gone up with the countries with whom we are doing FTAs. Whereas the original purpose was to actually support our exporters to do duty-free exports to these countries. और इसकी कुछ काफ़ी वजह हैं, but we'll not go into detail today. And traditionally, the role of the government has always been to provide efficient infrastructure, provide cheap power, give us roads, give us electricity, and all the necessary water and effluent. But today, the demand from industry is also changing. Times have changed. Industry needs help in HR, in human resources creation, in supporting their R&D activities, in innovation, in bringing new products to markets, and entry strategies in foreign countries on a far more aggressive way than what our high commissions have been doing in the past. And therefore today, we are shifting from just-in-time kind of a situation that we used to work in to a new paradigm called just-in-case, which brings home that, we have a problem with kinds of supply chains which have been disrupted. અને આની સાથે આપણે કામ કરવામાં જો વાંધો આવે, the diversification that Bhaduji talked about has become extremely critical at the macro level. But it needs to be translated into the import basket for each company sitting here in that panel discussion, that how are you also planning to become resilience? We had organized a similar session in Surat just about 2 months back, where we had again 12 different industry sector groups. અને એનો જે નિષ્કર્ષ નીકળ્યો હતો એ અત્યારે હવે now we have consolidated into a single paper and it is now available for anybody to read and see. But we have learnt a lot about what role China is playing, what role government has to play, and what role industry has to play in taking the next steps going forward to increase our exports and to reduce our dependence in many very important areas. So with these opening remarks, I will call our speakers one by one. What they will cover is the following topics. First is each speaker in 2 minutes will introduce your company, will introduce where are you located, what are your products, and in 2 minutes also include आपके future plans क्या हैं. 2 minutes. I know it takes an annual general meeting, but this is 2 minutes. The second 3 minutes is going to be business opportunity in your sector. That means for Gujarat's growth, for indigenization, for operations, in terms of turnover, investment, employment, how much is the scope in your own sector for growth? Then we come to two aspects. Are you import competitive? If China has to bring their goods here in India without any duty, will you be able to face the competition or not? If not, why not? And what do you need to compete with China? The next 1 minute is going to be about export competitiveness. FTAs खुल रहे हैं, हम लोग टैप कर रहे हैं, नहीं कर रहे हैं, इसमें क्या अड़चनें हैं आपकी और उसमें क्या कर सकते हैं? And the last 2 minutes is to give one suggestion for policy to change that can make a radical difference to what you are doing in your own business to grow forward. So the total time allocated to each speaker is 10 minutes. We are about 11 or 12 people. तो 2 घंटे इसमें जाएंगे. And उसके बाद we will open it out for Q&A for each one of you to ask your questions and direct the question to an individual. We also have an offer from Mr. Bhadu, who has immense amount of data that he has collected on each of the sectors. So अगर किसी को इस बारे में सवाल करना है, then Mr. Bhadu is already prepared to share this data के कौन से sector में, in addition to what he has already said. So let's begin. Let me get my seat and start then. Yeah, let's begin with the first speaker, Mr. Gaurav Mode, who is the business leader with ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. And a very important sector, steel is a very important sector for Gujarat. Over to you, Gaurav. Ten minutes.
Yeah.
I'm counting. Huh?
Thank you very much, Sunil ji. Good afternoon, Bhadu Saab, Gajera Saab, all the panelists and everyone sitting here. My name is Gaurav Mode and I am representing ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. We are a Gujarat-based integrated steel manufacturer. We are the only steel manufacturer who is an integrated manufacturer based out of Gujarat. We make flat steel products in our company. If I say we make hot rolled coils, cold rolled coils, or coated coils, you may not be able to connect it. So let me give some example that what we make and where this steel goes. Friends, if you look around us, we will observe that every single aspect of modern human life is deeply anchored around a strategic material. Look at the homes where we live or the factories where we work. These buildings are structurally held together by this material. Consider the home appliances like refrigerators, washing machines, ACs that we use on a daily basis. The four-wheelers, the three-wheelers, the two-wheelers, the trains, the buses that takes us to our offices. The ships, the trucks, the bridges, each single one of these items and thousands of other items that we see in our daily life is made up of this material. I'm talking about steel. And we make steel for all of these items in our factories. at ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. The demand for steel, some statistics about steel industry. The demand for steel in India has been increasing at an incredible rate over the last 1 decade or so. In 2015, we were consuming around 70 million tons of steel, and today we are consuming more than 150 million tons of steel. So in just a decade, our steel consumption has got doubled. While the world is seeing a very, very moderate steel demand growth of 1 or 2%, India's steel growth is seeing an unprecedented surge of more than 10% CAGR. So the question lies before us is whether we want to produce steel indigenously within India or we rely on imports. The answer obviously is yes, we want to produce sophisticated steel. As Bhadu sir has said, Sunil ji has said, that we just don't want to produce low-grade raw material or low-end steel. We want to produce sophisticated, high-end, value-added steel. So I think that is why is the caution that Atmanirbharta has no longer remained a luxury to us. Rather, it has become an absolute strategic necessity for us today. Thank God, Indian steel industry has responded well to see this double-digit surge in steel demand growth. Where in 2015 we were only making around 100 million tons per annum, and today we are making more than 180 million tons of steel in the country. We are the second largest producer and consumer of steel in the world. So this is what is our potential. And very soon we are going to become a massive 300 million tons steel producing nation. This is what has also been envisaged in our steel policy. And we are very glad that entire steel industry is contributing to realize that dream that Mr. Modi has laid down before us. Coming to ArcelorMittal and our plans. At ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India, we are actively mirroring this nation-wide momentum. And I am very pleased to tell you that in this year itself, we are going to complete our massive 60,000 crore rupees of expansion at our flagship plant in Hazira. This expansion will increase our capacities from 9 million tons to 15 million tons. The expansion is primarily focused on producing high-end, sophisticated, best-in-class steel products, which will find its application almost in all the sectors, you name it, automobile, oil and gas, shipping, logistics, infra, white goods, solar, wind, so on and so forth. Yeah, so I think this will also, so steel also have a 7x employment multiplier factor. What I mean by 7x employment multiplier is that every single job that is being created in a primary steel plant like ours generates additional 7 indirect jobs in the entire value chain of steel. Not only this, steel has a 1.4x of output multiplier. What I mean by this is that every single rupee output that gets generated in a steel plant is able to create an incremental 1.4 rupees of economic value in the entire value chain. I think if we will continue to build our steel capacities in this manner, then surely we will have Atmanirbharta in terms of steel manufacturing capabilities in India. Coming to another important aspect, which is global competitiveness. We firmly believe that the true blueprints for a globally competitive Gujarat lies in becoming high value-added, sophisticated component exporter rather than low value-added raw material exporter. This is what has also been said by Bhaduji and by Gajaria ji also, that rather than exporting low value-added raw material and then letting our resources to go to some other country, it is better that we produce high-end sophisticated components and export. I think steel industry with this massive base can support our local industries and MSMEs, who in turn can convert and transform our premium grade steel products into high value added sophisticated machine parts, components, assemblies, and export to the world and create an incremental economic value for the nation. Having said this, this Atmanirbharta and competitiveness would not be complete unless we prepare our human capital with the right skill sets. I'm seeing so many students are sitting here. So precisely for this reason, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India has established NEMTEC, the New Age Maker Institute of Technology, right here in this state of Gujarat. This is our strategic gift to the state of Gujarat. NEMTEC is specifically designed to upskill and train our new generation young engineers into the fields of artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, advanced automation systems, so that they become readily prepared to be a part of this era of Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing and advanced automation systems. I think by combining our world-class sophisticated steel manufacturing capabilities, our Industry 4.0 ready talent pool coming out of our universities, well supported by market-leading industrial policies, we have all the ingredients. We have all the ingredients available to not only become Atmanirbhar, but also become globally competitive. We in ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India works on a mantra which is बनाऊंगा मैं, बनेगा भारत.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coming to the specific question, Sunilji, that you have asked,
Time to ho gaya bhaiya.
I will take 2 minutes. This is very important. The question was, are we import competitive against zero duty Chinese imports, right? So if I were to answer directly, my answer would be no. At this point of time, we are not structurally ready to compete against zero duty Chinese import. The reason is that their steel industry is heavily subsidized, heavily state subsidized. Look at their cost of production, which is only around $500 to $520 a ton. Whereas in India, our cost of production is around $600 to $630 a ton. So there is a big gap of around $100. There are three main reasons. Badhu Sahab, if we can address, I know you cannot address one out of it, but at least address two out of it. The first and foremost is our cost of capital, which I think beyond the scope of anybody sitting here. But then in India, our cost of capital is 8 to 10%, whereas in China, their cost of capital is 2 to 3%. So which has a very deep impact on overall cost of production. The second point is higher logistical cost. In India, our logistical cost is 11.3 rupees per ton per kilometer. Whereas in China, their logistics cost is merely 8.3 rupees per ton per kilometer. So again, in logistics terms alone, they are 25% cheaper than us. And the third, I was speaking to Agrawal Sahab, the lower input raw material cost, especially hard coking coal and ferroalloys. There again, Chinese mills enjoys subsidized hard coking coal and ferroalloys, which is at least 15 to 20% cheaper than what we get in India. These are the few structural reasons why we are not competitive. Again, export. Sir, if we can address these cost disparities, disadvantages, and focus our entire energy to create an ecosystem where we can promote our MSMEs, our industries, to actually create high value, sophisticated export component, then definitely we have the capabilities and competencies to compete against any nation in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sir?
Or yesterday only JSW Steel has asked for a re-investigation. That came in the newspaper today for
Sir.
opening the investigation.
Thanks to Government of India, which has imposed safeguard duty for 3 years against the predatory dumping of China and other countries who are doing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gaurav. Very interesting and very frank. Time ज़्यादा लिया लेकिन share भी अच्छा किया. May I request the next speaker, Dr. Yogendra Chauhan, President of Advanced Materials from Deepak Chem Tech, please, to share his views. Chemicals, as you know, is a very important area, and he works in advanced materials. So very keen to hear you here.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It's absolute privilege and pleasure to be among the best in class, best professionals, I would say, and setting the dais here on a very important topic of Atmanirbharta. I mean, just to give a background, I'm actually working for Deepak Group since last 3.5 years, responsible for setting up specialty chemicals and polymers business. We call it advanced materials business, Deepak Advanced Material. Today morning, who were there in an inaugural session, Mr. Deepak Bhai Mehta actually announced the same thing. Our commitment to 15,000 crore worth of investment in this area. So definitely in Gujarat, majority of that in the Dahej area. So we are already into the petrochemical value chain. And Deepak Bhai actually comes with a very different philosophy. Most of the entrepreneurial thinking is about if demand comes, then I will create the supply, right? So demand drives the kind of industrialization part. Of course, India is having a great demand. We talk about the iPhone and all, and I'm going to cover that, sir, in my 10 minutes. So what exactly Deepak is doing? So as you know that we are one of the largest phenol acetone player since 2018, very much in Dahej. And this is also, as he rightly said today morning, that 200 crore turnover company when our Prime Minister in a capacity of Chief Minister of Gujarat in 2003. So this is where the Deepak Nitrite was standing at that time. Now we are more than 9,000 crore turnover company. And we have a very big ambition to become a 25,000 crore company, maybe by 2030, 2031. And this will only happen when you actually believe in Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? So this is exactly, we would like to catalyze this particular momentum and contribute continuously in Gujarat particularly. So Dahej 1 and 2 is already functional. We are actually right now more than 11 projects being implemented for specialty chemicals and polymers and all. So we are like what we say that we are technology deficient country as of now. I myself lived in China for 5 years. I lived in Germany, US and all these places in my careers. But now I see a great potential of India at the kind of a people say that it's a sleeping elephant is now somehow waking up. So, and Gujarat is going to play a pivotal or very, very important role in terms of Viksit Bharat. And this is exactly the theme of our Vibrant Gujarat ever since it started, and now it is getting a great catalytic effect. So we would like to participate in this journey of growth, Deepak Nitrite Group. So we are implementing the polycarbonate, first time in India. So you may be, I'm just giving a perspective. Polycarbonate is a very high-tech material. What you see in your auto headlamp, which was earlier 25 years ago was a glass, right? So it is replaced with polycarbonate. Your sunroof in your SUV car, your iPhone mobile phone housing, right? Your appliances, your medical devices, dialyzers and all, and so and so and so. So very versatile, high performance material invented 73 years ago by Dan Fox and Herman Snell in 2 different parts of the world. One is in US, another is in Germany. I happen to work in both laboratory as a scientist, by the way. So this is where actually this material is finally coming to India, and Deepak Bhai is actually creating this history. First time in India, polycarbonate is going to be manufactured with a global technology. And with at the same time, we have started DRDC, Deepak Research and Development Center, just 20 kilometers from here, which was actually an extended part of the Sun Pharma R&D Center, Spark, in Manjusar, Savli. So this is exactly where we have 125 scientists right now working on all different part of specialty chemicals, monomers and polymers. So I'm hiring many scientists, engineers, polymers, chemical, electrical, instrumentations and all. So guys, this is a great future waiting for you to grab, right? So if you can really understand where chemical can play a big role in terms of creating thousands and thousands of jobs. And I have seen this journey in China from 2012 to 17 when I was very much there. I was working for a German company called Bayer in a capacity of a global marketing director in headquarters. When German company decided, Bayer, to move their headquarters from Leverkusen to Shanghai because of the growing importance of China. And the current CEO, Covestros, the biomaterial science, they have divested Bayer because of they wanted to acquire the Monsanto, this thing and all. And luckily I say that because then that company has repositions or listed on Frankfurt stock market in 2015. So it's now called Covestro, one of the largest engineering plastic companies. So I happened to work there for 15 years in all different parts of the world. And current CEO actually invited me to join global marketing department as a marketing director for electrical, electronics and appliances sector. Working out of Shanghai, working 46 key accounts from HP, Dell, Lenovo to the Sony and Toshiba and Hitachi and of course all these companies which then finally acquired by Taiwanese and Chinese companies. So I have a first-hand impressions and experience of how ecosystem can be developed by wonder materials, which are a building block. So Deepak is going to do this in Gujarat, guys, actually. In 2028, we are going to start global scale plant of 170 KTA plant, which will enable lot of localization of component manufacturing, which, sir, you said about that. Okay, we are actually now very proud that we are now second largest exporter of mobile phone. But 80-90% of those components are being imported from China, Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, outside India. So we are still in a phase 1 and getting into phase 2. So to make one Lenovo laptop, I can tell you my first-hand impressions from Hubei, where I was working with a key account manager, my buyer key account manager going to Hubei, which is very close to Wuhan, by the way. So in 2014, first time when I went there to the Lenovo factory, and I asked the supply chain manager, how many suppliers do you have to make one Lenovo laptop, which they have taken over from IBM, by the way, Chinese. So they actually say that, Yogendra, we have more than 800 suppliers in a 50 kilometers radius. Can you believe? So if you have one OEM coming to Gujarat, right, like Tata Motors, Tata Electronics, or semiconductor company, or EV battery company, you bring thousands and thousands of MSME, SME, and of course ODM like Foxconn and all. So Tata Electronics, Foxconn and all, and this is exactly the story Mr. Deepak Bhai today morning say that how Noida's success story happened, how Sri City's success story happened, how Pune's success story happened. So why it cannot happen in Dahod and all these things. So this is exactly my motivation basically to inspire all young students as well as entrepreneurs. So what is there? How this particular advanced materials or polymers? So India actually right now the growth rate of import and the local consumption is in a range of 9 to 12% CAGR, which is highest in the world. The consumption of engineering plastics in India, which includes polycarbonates, polyamides, PBT, and so many high performance polymer also, which goes into EV batteries and electronics and auto components and so forth. And of course, high-speed train, the defense part, the aircraft, and the list is really very, very big. Because these materials are very versatile. Without that, you cannot convert metal to plastics, right? And at the same time, it has to be sustainable. So you need technology, you need R&D, you need a laboratory, you need a people, you need a technology center. All ecosystem, when it comes, then only you can make it India and become Atmanirbhar. So this Dahod or Halol state or Savli or Dahej or Gandhinagar or Surat need to have complete ecosystem. So from the government point of view, what we expect, this is also very clear. Can we really compete with China? I think very important question. Answer is again no. I think I echo what you said. Because of the raw material dependency, we still depend a lot, like what I just mentioned. Also scale, economy of scale. When I used to go to the Chinese company in Shenzhen, South China, one company make 100 million mobile devices. One company, 100 million mobile devices. I'm talking about in 2015. Okay, so this is the economy of scale they work on, the Foxconn of this world. So you need to have that. It is not that easy to just do it in 2 years, 3 years time. So it's a journey of next 10 years. Second is definitely you need to have a testing laboratory, you need to have a tool room, you need to have very, very good micro and small company like what you see in Japan and Germany and all these companies. These countries, they evolved and developed because of the micro and small industry ecosystem. So this is another thing. Are we export competitive? Yes, but selectively. But we can be better because of our definitely cost of goods manufactured, also kind of again, value chain integration, supply chain, now all this dedicated freight corridor, because supply chain, we are not very competitive worldwide, right? So now if it is getting better, we can. Policy suggestion from central, I would definitely request that PLI scheme, we should really include all this high performance material in a part of the PLI scheme. So this is my recommendation to central government. To Gujarat government, I suggest that in Dahej, why can't we think of a specialty material, polymer and plastic park, right? So where we invite all hundreds of companies to co-locate this thing and we really create a synergy and consortium approach. Rather than competing with each other, why can't we compete with the external competitors, right? And we enable Tatas and the Adanis and Ambanis and all in Atmanirbharta, helping the fellow Indian entrepreneurs, like what Japanese are doing to the Japanese companies, what Koreans are doing to the Korean company, what Chinese are doing to the Chinese company, and Germans are doing to German company. ભારતીયને મદદ કરવી પડશે, ગુજરાતીને કરવી પડશે મદદ, તો પછી આપણે બધા ભેગા થઈને આ દુનિયા જીતી લઈશું. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ.
Thank you. Challenges are there, but solutions are also coming through. Thank you, Yogendra. We will now have Mr. Ravi Mittal, Director Manufacturing of JSW MG Motors, Morris Garage.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting in this forum, and it's my pleasure to be in front of so learned panel as well as all the audience over here. So my thoughts on the topic, which you have said to us to say in 10 minutes, and I will take less time than 10 minutes. So I come from JSW MG Motor India Limited. JSW MG Motor plant is in Halol, where we produce all the MG brand cars. जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जो हम बनाते हैं यहाँ पर इस प्लांट में, that is MG Hector, Windsor, Gloucester, Magister, and all the cars which we see on road. I represent a company which wants to make EV sahi hai as a tagline. That means we believe in having the cars which are towards new energy vehicle. When I say towards new energy vehicle or towards electrical vehicle, all hybrid technology, I would like to introduce you one fact, that if any automobile, and please understand, automobile brings 25% of manufacturing GDP is controlled by automobile company. And my whole experience of 30 odd years is all with working with car companies, starting with Hyundai, Tata, Maruti, and now with MG. Since many years, I have seen personally the car market, the growth in Indian market. Way back in 1995, when Government of India opened our market for foreign companies to come and invest and make the foreign-made cars in India by Indians, and to started localizing the product. If we run a car or a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler on petrol or on ice and diesel or petrol, these fuels are not available in our country. We import this crude, and that is the reason why we all are aware when this crisis happened, we were most affected. Thanks to Government of India and all those BPCL, IPCL, all those refineries, they supported the way, and in our country the increase in the fuel prices were very minimal. But even though all these fuel are being imported, and our dependency on crude is highly there, it even gives us foreign exchange. We have to buy in dollars, and that's the reason why we have a deficit in our trade deficit. So if we adopt EV technology or electrical car technology, that means it is no fuel. हम लोग को fuel खर्च करना नहीं है. And in the state of Gujarat, we are aware that our state is so rich in natural things, that means wind energy and solar energy. Now to a suggestion to Mr. Ajay and all the dignitaries, government officials. that in the Gujarat state, we have a huge solar and wind power. And imagine if the solar and wind power we could convert into electricity, and that electricity we can use for charging chargers. And these chargers will charge the vehicle, any two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler. And please understand, in our country, the three-wheeler penetration of electrical is much higher than four-wheeler cars. Even today, in the last month, even Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi, as well as many government officials, have requested Indians couple of things. One, not to buy gold, because we have seen in the presentation. And second, to adopt EVs. Why to adopt EVs? Not to have dependency on fuel. That is where we can, that is the meaning for me of Atmanirbharta. क्योंकि अगर हम अपने देश की ऊर्जा से अपनी गाड़ियां या अपना प्रोडक्ट चार्ज कर सकते हैं, then there is no need to put fuel into it. There is one more fact which I want to put in front of you. Running of a car on petrol costs you around minimum 7 to 10 rupees per kilometer, while running an EV car costs you or us less than a rupee per kilometer. If I run my car 2,000 kilometers every month, then straight away I can save around 15,000 rupees every month. With this money, I can fund my EMI of the car which I bought. So, or a two-wheeler which I bought. Also, to tell you from a data perspective, in two-wheelers, in last few years back, we had a big movement towards electrical vehicles, and that is why Ather, Ola, TVS, many companies are there. But in four-wheeler, still, the penetration is not in the tune of what we expected. Last year, the country of India ended the penetration of EV cars around 4.5%, and this year we are running around 6 to 7% of it. We are very hopeful that by the year 2029, this percentage will be at least 15+%. Many of the data by KPMG and many of the consultancies, they have given this study. That means there is a good market in India for EV cars, and if we combine this with a sustainable story, combining wind and electrical power into a EV car or a EV vehicle, that will be very beneficial for our country as a whole. Then a lot of schemes of government of India are being operated, like PLI schemes for electrical manufacturing, as well as on semiconductors and electrical components, even battery cells. I come from a company, JSW where the batteries and all the components are being assembled in India, and we are the best person who can comment on the relationship of China, because we have a two-partner joint venture company. We have a two JV. One is Jindal's, which is JSW, and one is SAIC, which is China #1 automobile company. But along with our two stakeholders, we are working very aggressively on localizing the parts. In the beginning, when we started production in 2019, our localization content was not very high. We were importing mainly from China as well as Germany as well as other European countries. But today, with all these policies of government as well as our internal policies, because if we want to grow further from the level where we are, we need to indigenize, we need to localize our product. And we are working very aggressively to localize all the components which you see at least in the car. In my experience of 32 odd years, I have seen the way Indian car companies or auto companies have emerged from an import or from a dependence mindset to a self-management mindset, wherein many components, today, like the panelists have spoken about it, the companies like Delphi, they import many components outside the world. Even many of the European cars have got Indian components. So that's the real meaning for us, and real Atmanirbharta, wherein the story which was said, that earlier we were importing mobile phones and the components, now we send back to export. So similarly, that dream is there in our eyes for as far as auto is concerned. And the second part of the question which you said, whether we are ready to compete China. The answer was no from all the panelists. I also beg to accept it, but not in that way what was said. I still feel that we in India we shouldn't feel that China can make very high production, very sophisticated components with a very low cost. No, I don't agree with this. We also can. Only thing is this, we need to put our foot on the right product. We have to get a good conducive environment to production, which earlier was mentioned, top 3 factors, and the zeal and enthusiasm to compete. In the beginning, we may have difficulty, but if we take this step today, then we can win tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You actually took less than 10 minutes. Thank you. And now we will have Rahul Jitendra Shah, Group Managing Director, LP Group.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sunilji, Baluji. My name is Rahul Jitendra Shah, and I come from the cotton textiles background. We are the LP group, which have 6 companies across cotton textile verticals, starting from cotton spinning, weaving, dyeing and printing, denim, and garment manufacturing. So all of you who are here, and whatever fabric that you all are wearing is what we make. And one thing that I will start off with the first comment is that in all the products that we make, we are more competitive than China. We make cotton yarn, where India is the largest cotton yarn exporter to the world. We export a lot of cotton yarn to China, for that matter. It's one of our largest markets. We make fabric, we make denim fabric, we make shirting fabric, we make corduroys, we make prints, where we are also more competitive than China. And we make cotton garments, knit garments, denim pants. So in all these categories, India is today more competitive than China. So this is one aspect that I think is differentiating the cotton textile industry from all the other industries that we just heard. However, I will share a small story to understand the implications today of the FTAs. And it's in 2005, the whole world textile regime was governed by quotas. In 2005, the quotas went away, so the whole world became a big marketplace for cotton textiles. And I went to the United States of America on my first business trip in 2006, thinking that I will export my cotton yarn to that market. It was a big buyer of cotton yarn. As I met customers in US, I realized that India had a 15% import duty on cotton yarn import into the United States, and Korea, South Korea, had a 10% import duty, which made our product, even though we were cheaper by 10% in price, our product was 5% more expensive than Korean yarn, and which is why we were not able to export our products to all these markets. So what India is doing today, our leadership, our top leadership in Delhi, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, signing the FTAs, is the right step, I think, because the global textile trade is not about competitiveness alone. It is about FTAs and about zero duty entry into these countries. Let me give you another example. Let's take Europe. We have just signed an FTA with Europe, sir. In Europe, our garment and home textile products is a 10% import duty versus Bangladesh and Pakistan, which are our main competitors, are at 0%. Even a product like cotton yarn in Europe is 4% versus Pakistan 0%. So the FTA is going to open a lot of opportunities for Indian cotton textiles, as I see. And as our Honorable Minister said, that India, from a 40 billion cotton textile export, is now poised to reach a 100 billion textile export. Now, sorry? Yeah, yes, sir. So we have signed with UK, with Europe, with Australia, with New Zealand, with Oman, so many countries, and more are in the offering. But sir, we need to understand what we are today in cotton textile and how we can leapfrog forward. If I will talk about India today, we are the 5th largest country in the world in terms of cotton textile export. There is China, number 1, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Germany, and 5th is India. But in 2 or 3 years, we will come to the number 3 position. But we would like to go to the number 1 or number 2 at least. India has a 1.4 billion population. Textiles is the single largest industry as an employer to this country. So India cannot afford to neglect cotton textiles. Gujarat, as we are here, 37% of the cotton production of India happens in Gujarat. We are the largest producer of polyester fiber. We are the largest producer of viscose fiber in India. We have 5 million spindles. We make the largest man-made fabrics in Surat. We make the highest cotton production in Ahmedabad. And we are also, 90% of our textile machinery is made in Gujarat. So 30% of India's cotton textile exports comes from Gujarat as a state alone, which is why Gujarat holds the key and the potential to leapfrog India into the number 1 or number 2 position. Now, why we are not able to do this, sir? So one simple data will probably explain where the challenge, and this is what Baduji also mentioned in his presentation. India grows the largest cotton production in the world, but our garment export is $16 billion. And Bangladesh, our neighboring country, has 0 cotton production and has $45 billion of garment exports. And this is where the problem of India lies. India's exports, the raw material, does not convert into a value-added product, and this is where the challenge of India lies today. Our state government has given a lot of
textile subsidies, benefits, industrial policy also recently, where textile is a thrust sector for the state. My one question to the government officials would be that out of the subsidy that you have given to the textile industry, how much percentage of that subsidy went into garment manufacturing units? And my answer to this would be that it will be less than 5%. And this is where the problem lies. A 300 stitching machine unit, sir, gives employment to 800 people and has less than 5 crore investment in machines. So if we were even going a 1,000 crore subsidy to just stitching units, it will employ 1.6 lakh people, and this is what India needs, having a 1.4 billion population. So in terms of policy initiatives, it could be at a central level, it could be a state level. What we really need to change and take advantage of these FTAs is the rapid growth of garment manufacturing in India. For this, we will need to set up apparel parks all across our state. Number one, subsidies to garment manufacturing. Number two, ecosystem. An apparel park must not only have garment manufacturing, it has to have button manufacturing, zipper manufacturing, washing laundries, complete ecosystem, just like Tirupur that we have in South India. So an apparel park must have the complete ecosystem there. And number three, skill development, sir. We need skilled tailors, जो garment बना पाएंगे, जिसकी आंखें श्रीलंकन जैसी हो, जिसकी productivity बांग्लादेशी जैसी हो. इसके लिए every apparel park must have a skill development center where government must invest to bring in fresh workers, upgrade their skills to make them skilled tailors. If India is going to produce 10 million skilled tailors, there is no doubt that we are ready for this opportunity of FTAs that you have created, and there is no doubt that the entrepreneurs of India today will rise and come to the number one or number two position, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Very insightful, and thank you once again. We will now have Rakesh Dwivedi, Hitachi Energy, Senior VP, etc., etc.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Mr. Ajay, for very insightful discussions. And I was always feeling that what you talked something, because my plan is to actually share what we do in Hitachi Energy. And just to update from our Vadodara facility, more or less we already export close to $250 million. That's, I mean, on a ballpark, we are talking of around 2,500 crore. And we have built this all export ecosystem in last 4 or 5 years. And Mr. Ajay, when you were talking and the kind of suggestions you were giving, I was able to correlate what we already see. So from that perspective, I would still like to share. So as Mr. Sunil already introduced me, my name is Rakesh Dwivedi. I'm heading the high voltage business unit of Hitachi Energy. I'm based out of Vadodara. And I take care of India and also the Asia Pacific region. Vadodara is one of our biggest manufacturing location. And as someone who has been representing Hitachi Energy since last 2.5 decades, and my personal passion for actually positioning our Indian factories for export. This has been a very strong personal passion, and I have some stories as well to share within this limited time, that what kind of roadblocks we faced and what we did about that. So having said that, I mean, we have seen our factories grow from a cost-driven factory to today a factory on the global scale within our internal ecosystem, even within our external suppliers ecosystem. And now our factories compete on actually technology, and we no more actually compete on just cost. And this is what you were talking, sir, about that. For many of you to also update what Hitachi Energy does. So Hitachi Energy actually helps bring all the power from the source to the consumers. So basically we are into the T&D sector of the energy, and we help bring the energy, and our mantra is bringing sustainable energy and reliable energy. So a lot was being talked about that, and in today's environment, you are already aware that what's happening into this global energy transition. So, I mean, the whole energy is being is transitioning from the fossil fuel to the electrical energy, what our colleague from MG Motor was talking. And this is bound to happen. And what is further accelerating for us, I mean, this is a global phenomena. It is happening everywhere. I will not give the statistics of all the renewable energy being added to the tune of 30, 40 gigawatt every year in our country. But on top of that, our country has itself around 10 to 12% natural growth of energy consumption, because our per capita energy consumption is very less. On top of that, the data centers are coming. The data centers, as you are aware, that with the advent of AI and the digitalization, I mean, the hyperscaler data centers sometimes are as big as what our cities like Vadodara or even Ahmedabad might be consuming. One data center itself needs that much of energy. So this is a huge energy requirement, and this is not just in India. Globally, everywhere, this power and energy market is quite strained. And this has brought a big opportunity for us sitting in India, having the factories in India. If you ask our experience about what our customers need, why we are not able to capture all these markets, there are some basic expectation of our customers. I will not give you very big jargons, but probably there is something in the back. I mean, our customers need cost and quality leadership. Our customers need supply chain resilience, and our customers need sustainability. Now on the supply chain resilience as well, a lot was spoken. That's where our government is working a lot on basically bringing the geopolitical risk under control and things like trade and logistics. But on our side, the resilience is about bringing the suppliers ecosystem, the lead time to deliver, the ability to deliver with the quality. So, I mean, to complete all these expectations, we have 5 pillars on which we are working. One of that is basically technology and innovation. In our Hitachi Energy, we have been harnessing a lot the AI and also the digital traceability. It is no more a word for us. We use AI for quality. We use digital traceability to again give the best experience to our customers, because our equipments need a very high level or a precision level of reliability. And today AI is not something about just a kind of jargon word or a jewel. It is about bringing cost efficiency, bringing the quality efficiency. Again, on the quality topic, I will come. The next is basically, I mean, we have this our own example. When we started to supply from the Indian factories to the global factories, initially we faced a lot of problem. Then we were looking that, okay, what is the quality expectation, and we matched the quality expectation. And you will be wondering to know that even when we matched the quality expectations, we were still having issues. Even small quality topics were being blown out of proportion. Why? Because, I mean, you all hear the word, the soft bias. Let us address the elephant in the room, that yes, there is a soft bias. When you want to supply to the developed world, there is a bias. And even China faced this bias when they were escalating the manufacturing value chain. So after a lot of iteration, we could only realize that to break the bias, it is important that actually we delivered beyond their expectation. So if the quality standards ask for X, probably we need to supply 1.1X. And let me tell you, actually that started working for us. So what I mean to say that we need to work to break this bias. Unless we break this bias, we will not be able to succeed there. Similarly, coming back to the topic of sustainability, I mean, those were days when we were basically green painting things and we were talking that this is the sustainability. Today's sustainability is intrinsic to the product. Our customers are asking, I mean, in our switchgear industry, we use a lot of SF6. And as you know that SF6 is a very greenhouse potent gas. It is world's most greenhouse potent gas. 1 kg of SF6 is equivalent to 24 ton of CO2. And the whole industry was always since centuries using SF6. Now coming back to this, today we have customers in Europe and in the developed world to whom we are also supplying the switchgear from our Vadodara facility, who are basically demanding the switchgears to be environment neutral on a life cycle basis. So one is that we have to eliminate this gas, but also we have to use materials which are basically made with, let's say, green aluminum and all what you might be talking. So today what I mean to say that sustainability is no more just green labeling, it is about bringing it and taking the advantage, the competitive advantage, because unless you are sustainable, I mean, you all are aware what's happening in Europe, this carbon border tax mechanism, and probably some more places we will actually see it. And from our perspective, we see that we need to be prepared for it much before actually it hits us. And lastly, on the collaboration and also on the support, what we expect. We already talked a lot about collaboration, and I will not talk all the other points. One point which I would like to talk that while we are talking about the AI and the digital traceability to be the best partners for the global manufacturing chain, but MSMEs who are arteries of our manufacturing system, can they afford it? I don't think they can afford it. And this is where the academia and the government, if we can partner and if we can create our own use cases, if we can let our MSCVs access to some of the AIs, some of the digital traceability topics, and I'm sure this can be probably partly funded, or there can be a joint work with the academia. It will be very helpful for us also, the large companies like us, to basically take advantage of these capabilities with our MSMEs. On top of that, Ajay sir, two more topics. I mean, they are very small, but let me bring you one of the topic of BIS certification. We, in our industry, we have been struggling a lot with the BIS certifications because we want to export a lot, and the lead time for us is important. And our lead times are really getting impacted because of a lot of BIS certification requirements on our special materials, which we only get from outside. Yes, the CRGO steel is there, certain sections of aluminum and pipes which we don't have in India. And lastly, one very small topic, but because we are talking that we want to go into the global market, and the response time is very important, especially in our industry where one outage, I mean one equipment, if one HV switchgear or one transformer fails, the whole city goes to a dark. And under those circumstances, when we have to support our customers abroad, when we have to send them some free material, sometimes even taking the RBI approval takes 7 days. That's another big point that, I mean, this is about the kind of soft image which we create, that when we want to localize the critical equipments in India, but when we want to serve our customers outside, how fast we are able to give them the service support. So basically we have some rules to send the free material, and there is some RBI approval about that. So these are the topics which I just wanted to address, and thanks for your very patient hearing. And I was really fortunate to listen to the first panel and also my fellow panelists, and looking forward to much more engaging discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Rakesh. Important. I would suggest if you can give me, Ajay ji, I'm on the board of Bureau of Indian Standards. So if something that we can work together on these two specific cases, if you can send it to us, Rakesh ji, if you can send a note, we'll make sure that this doesn't happen, because, it gets lost in the jungle there. We'll take it up on priority. We have 5 out of 10 are over now, 5 more are to go. यार कोई कॉफ़ी पिला दो यार, इनको देख के मुझे इतनी जेलसी हो रही है मुझे नहीं यार, मैं अच्युत को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि कहीं स्पीकर्स के लिए तो करवा दो, बाकी तो जो होगा वो होगा. Thank you for the inspiration, Ajay ji. Now, next speaker will be Dr. Prashant Shivhara, who is General Manager and works at Famson's Basic Drugs Private Limited.
Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. Today I am representing Famson Basic Drug Private Limited. Is the pioneering name in the pharmaceutical industries in the Gujarat state. It is established in 1971 by visionary leader Sri K.K. Vithani sir. And Famson has been a proud contributor into Gujarat pharmaceutical industries. because it is this is the 55th year is going on a single product paracetamol. So we are specializing in the manufacturing of the paracetamol API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. So we have born and brought up in Gujarat only. We have just recently launched our 2 new units in Gujarat only. So we have total 6 units in Gujarat, 4 is in Vadodara, 1 is in Saikha, 1 is in Jagadia. So out of 6 industries, 3 units is engaging in the manufacturing of the paracetamol. One is the acetic anhydride, another is the paraminophenol. Acetic anhydride and paraminophenol, these both are using to manufacturing paracetamol. So we have backward integration. And our other unit in Saikha, we have just commissioned before 1 month for caffeine. So we are the world largest integrated manufacturer of the API paracetamol, with the capacity of the 52,000 metric ton per annum. If it is converted into tablet, this 52,000 metric ton per annum, so this is we count the paracetamol tablet, every home, this is one strip is there. So tablet is 9,610 crore tablets per year. So this has been managed by our workforce is about 3,500 people in all 6 units. On the sustainable pathways, we have a 2.2 megawatt solar power plant, 9.9 megawatt hybrid renewable energy plant. These all consist our 80% of the energy of the Fansan group of companies. And we also commitment SBTI target. So we are the 5th pharmaceutical company in the India only to commit the SBTI target. And we also disclosure the CDP carbon credit. So our upcoming priority is the R&D for new molecule, new entity, and recently launched 2 unit. It is a capital investment is about 950 crore rupees. So it is our priority to bring up to full capacity. So we can talk about pharmaceutical industries in the Gujarat. There is a huge possibility. As we all know, Gujarat is the API and KSM, key starting raw material hub. So it contains 38 to 42% share in the Indian pharmaceutical turnover and nearly 30% of the drugs exports. So State Pharma is aggressively moved towards the 1.42 lakh crore to 2 lakh crore turnover within 3 to 4 years. The last financial years, the pharmaceutical export from Gujarat reached 39,900 crore. This represents the substantial growth, 20.2% year on year. So our export revenue is projected in next 3 to 4 years is about 75,000 crore in pharmaceutical industries. The total fresh capital investment for last 12 months in Gujarat is about 12,000 crore. Some of the companies relocating or expanding their units from northern India to Gujarat as government have lucrative policy at single window clearance system, which is save the time of setup is about 30 to 40%. And also we have a plug and play zones, SEZs, bulk drug parks, and government-backed PLI scheme. This will all help to bring to Gujarat all Indian companies. The Gujarat direct pharmaceutical sector give generate a workforce approximate 6,000 to 7,000 in last year. And current directly pharmaceutical industries workforce is about 60,000 plus 4x of indirect job too. So we are import competitive, yes, because so API manufacturing is either India or in China, as Baduji has shown our data is all about 44% as pharmaceutical products or KSM come from the China. So it must be competitive by the evolving a business model whereby you can compete with the China. So FARMSON have constantly worked on the evolving a business model where we can be producing our own intermediate. There is para-aminophenol and acetic anhydride with a captive facility. And other manufacturer of the India in paracetamol is used the Chinese para-aminophenol. And our acetic anhydride manufacturing facility, the manufacturing of the acetic anhydride from our byproduct, it is byproduct of the paracetamol, which is glacial acetic acid. We have converted glacial acetic acid to the acetic anhydride. And our para-aminophenol facility, we were strategically located in the Jagadia, where we have get our raw material directly through pipeline for eliminate transport, logistic, and storage cost. For export competitive, the FARMSON is the export competitive because we have export our 35% of global demand. And we have catered all regulated market, and we have export to USA, EU, Far East, African countries. So it's all about almost 60 countries we have exports our product. So we are the world largest exporter in the API in single molecule. And FARMSON is proudly recognized as a 4-star export house by DGFT. So in our, we can talk about policy. So in morning session, previously Bhaduji says, we have very low margin product in Gujarat, manufacturing API and KSM. So we have to move towards the high margin, high value, high margin product like biologics, biosimilars, and peptides. So we have, Gujarat government have biotechnology policy 2020 to 27. But so many companies doesn't know about this company, about this policy. So to maintain the leadership and increase the revenue, the state must have its biotechnology policy to educate local industries and develop a technical confidence. So if required, amend the policy too, because it required massive investment to go from basic API to the biomanufacturing product. So we compare with the China. Industries policy makers focus from broad sectors to the specific targeted product. With the consultation with the industry's veteran, a similar approach are using by China. It is very crucial to making Indian pharma industries to making competitive. Because a single broad sector can contain thousands of distinct products, which is entirely different raw material cost and the supply chains. So Chinese policy framework is very flexible in terms of formulating policy, suiting their industries, which India lack in some way. China is a non-regulated economy as they are providing incentive in the range of the 13%, whereby we hardly get the 1.5%. So this is an area where government policy framework should be more proactive towards the industries. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. As a colleague of pharma industry, I agree with everything you are saying. We now go to Manish Tibrewal, who is the CEO and Director of Falcon Agri Frizz Food Private Limited. For FTAs. Yeah. Yes, yeah, that's true. Point taken, sir. Coffee है? अरे वाह भाई वाह, युग युग जियो. एक काम करो यार, थोड़ा इसमें ज़्यादा डाल दो. Thank you, sir. जान आ गया है. Go ahead, Manish ji.
Good afternoon, Sunil Bhai. Good afternoon, Mr. Badhu, Mr. Gajera, and all my panel speakers, and to everybody in this auditorium. It's a pleasure to see you all. So, I am Manish Tibrewal. I represent Falcon Agri Freeze Foods Private Limited. As Falcon Agri Freeze Foods, we are one of India's largest French fries and potato specialty producers based out of Kadi, Gujarat. So I can see quite a young population, and this is something in today's era which is of much interest to the younger population. So मैं आपको सबको बताना चाहूँगा कि ये जो आप फ्रेंच फ्राइज़ और बर्गर पैटीज़ और आलू टिक्कीज़ जो KFC, मैकडोनल्ड्स और बर्गर किंग में आप लोग जो खाते हैं, वो सारी उस टाइप की हम लोग बनाते हैं. So, as Falcon, I said that we are one of India's largest French fries producers. So, our capacity is about 15 tons per hour for French fries and 3.5 tons of burger patties and aloo tikkis per hour for these products. So, we are a very new company. It brings me proud and pleasure to say that we signed an MOU with Government of Gujarat in January 23, and less than 2 years, we were there up and manufacturing, yes. So we inaugurated our plant in May 25. So as Falcon Agri Freeze, we employ more than 1,500 farmers across the districts of Banaskantha, Sabarkantha, Aravalli, Mehsana, Gandhinagar. These are the areas where we do the contract farming, and this is 100% contract farming. Mean to say, a person most benefited from our factory is a farmer, because he gets a fixed price being paid to a farmer and is not exposed to the vagaries of speculations. जहाँ आप लोग देखते हैं कि हर साल आलू के अंदर तेजी बंदी होती है, आलू को फेंका भी जाता है, बट हमारे केस के अंदर we pay a fixed price to farmer. So this year, for example, we paid 13 rupees a kg. जहाँ पर फार्मर 2 रुपये या 3 रुपये या 5 रुपये में फेंकने की बारी आती है, वो फार्मर हमसे अच्छा पैसा कमाता है. So our factory, it is one of the most modern, 100% automated and totally new machinery, new production, new technology factory. अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात ने विकसित भारत स्कीम निकाली है, जिसमें दे आर प्रमोटिंग ज़ीरो लिक्विड डिस्चार्ज, दे आर प्रमोटिंग सस्टेनेबिलिटी, दे आर प्रमोटिंग R&D. बट मेरे को आपको सबको ये बताने में खुशी हो रही है कि वी आर द कंपनी which already is a zero liquid discharge company. 95% of our water gets recycled. So we use about 20 lakh liters of water every day, out of which 95% gets recycled, and we use in the production again. So, I mean, we have been thinking in advance. On the sustainability side, we are the first company who is using whatever the heat recovery systems, heat generated during the production, we tap it, and we again used into the production. We use solar power as one of our source for power. talking about the business opportunities, I'd like to tell you that this industry as such is very new in India. अगर हम potato की बात करें तो India is the second largest producer of potatoes in the world. Number one is China and second is India. So India लगभग 60 million, 6 करोड़ टन हर साल पैदा करता है. So which is about 16% of world's market. So अभी तक ये था कि ये आलू so internal home consumption हो रहा था. The French fries is a concept which is an American and European concept. So after the French fries industry is coming to India, the farmers are somebody which are most benefited. And just to give you a market size about the French fries and potato products, as on date, the world eats about worth potato products about $77 billion, whereas it is rising at 5% CAGR, and it is slated to grow to 115 billion by 33. So that is the opportunity. मैं आपको एक और measure देता हूँ. इंडिया बादू साहब इंडिया लगभग आज की तारीख में 1.5 लाख टन से लेके 2 लाख टन तक के फ्रेंच फ्राइज खाता है, पोटैटो प्रोडक्ट्स. एशिया, मिडल ईस्ट एंड साउथ ईस्ट एशिया करीबन 35 लाख टन फ्रेंच फ्राइज खाता है. Compare 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh tons against 35 tons. The more important data, which will be surprised to know, India with 140 crores of population, we eat 2 lakh tons of French fries. Philippines eats 2 lakh tons. Thailand eats 1.5 lakh tons. Japan, 5 lakh tons. Middle East countries, 5 lakh tons. Brazil, 10 lakh tons. UK, 10 lakh tons. So imagine the kind of opportunity which India has for export of these products. So till 2011, India was the net importer of French fries. And as on date, when we are sitting in 2026, the tables have turned around. From net importer of French fries, now we are net exporter. So on an average, annually we are exporting about 3 lakh tons to 3.5 lakh tons of French fries, which we were importing earlier. So there's a clear turnout of the table where we are exporting. Of course, the challenges lies, but the business opportunities lies a lot. So as I said, there's an immense business export potential for these products. The market is huge. Of course, the challenges will come and go, but how we make ourselves export competitive. So I think the two questions which remains to be answered is that how we are import competitive as against China, and how we are export competitive as in terms of production and all. So I refer to what Mr. Badu said. Badu sahab, aapne kaha tha during your speech that first and foremost, to become export competitive, how are we faring in terms of products? क्या हम world class product बना रहे हैं? क्या हमारी costing आ रही है? क्या हमारी practices वैसी है? So I'd like to bring to your notice, sir, we are already producing world class products. Our products as French fries, the Indian product, I would say the Indian French fries is already being accepted across the world. When people eat our French fries, they compare it with European products or with American products. So that is the kind of quality we are producing. That is a kind of automation we have done. So countries like Japanese or people from US or people from Korea, they come to our factories in India and then see our process and all. They pleasantly get surprised that the kind of quality and the kind of environment we have created is stupendous, is amazing. So that is where we have fared well. That is where, we have already made our mark in terms of quality. So now the question comes, are we export competitive? Yes and no, both. So French fries is a global product. It gets consumed across the world. I'll also mix the topic of, the FTAs and the trade agreements which we have done with the different countries. What has helped India to export? Of course, that has been the ASEAN trade agreement with the Asian countries. So there we have the zero duty already, and that has helped us to export to these countries. Similarly, the FTA would come in for UK, Europe, for other countries. So now that is the time will tell us that how it is going to help, because it is not only the FTA in our case, which will be, whether will be helpful for us to export or not. But the major thing which comes right now for us is the competitiveness with the China. China, as I think Mr. Gaurav already mentioned, we also see the two things which really is a hurdle, or which can be a thing which needs to be explored upon. One is Chinese are definitely heavily subsidized. Second point is on the logistics side. Now, a Chinese company selling to Brazil lesser than our price, because I don't know how they are making the logistics. So say for example, from China to Brazil, the freight is about $1,600. So for us, it is about $4,500. So there's a clear disadvantage there. UK, we are opening up the FTA, but the logistics costs are very, very high. So despite of FTAs being opened up, how it would help, that's the real question. So my request to all the government officials and the dignitaries and everybody will be that, yes, the policies are there, but the policies sometimes cannot be a fit for all policy. Sometimes it also needs to be looked upon sector specific. Sometimes it has to be tailor made. So in our terms, we would request that apart from the subsidies, like earlier, the government used to give the MEIS, it was 7%. From MEIS, 7% has now been reduced to 4%. So there's a clear loss of 3% in the competitiveness. Similarly, there used to be transport and marketing assistance for all the freights to these countries. There was an assistance being provided by Government of India, which has been withdrawn. So this, I will request, has to be looked upon. How is it a possibility? That definitely needs to be looked upon. And apart from that, logistics is something, or the freight cost or the ocean freight cost is really a subject which government needs to look upon, how it can be helped, how it can be taken care, what support it can be given for the companies which they are looking to export across the world. So for us, the whole of the world is a market. For us, the whole of the world is a buyer. It only needs to figure it out how we can reach to the countries. Otherwise, in terms of production, definitely we are cost competitive. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. I was wondering, you're not planning to make any vodka from potatoes? That's the next phase. Okay, sir. Now, next speaker will be Shubhag Ankolia, founder and chairman of PR&D Metals and Magnets Private Limited.
Good afternoon, Ajay Badu sir, गजेरा सर एंड डिस्टिंग्विश्ड गेस्ट। हमने बहुत प्रोडक्ट के बारे में सुना सब मेरे पैनलिस्ट से, स्टील, कार, ईवी मोटर्स एंड pharmaceuticals, chemicals. So we are coming with the new products, which is a very strategic product for the country, and we are the first integrated private sector for the rare earth value chain. Our vision is not limited to the manufacturing permanent magnets. We are building the capabilities across the complete value chain, from rare earth metal production to alloy manufacturing and the final products with the high performance NdFeB magnets. The distinction is important because true Atmanirbharta is achieved through complete value addition, not by manufacturing only the final product. We are commencing production with a capacity of 1,500 tons per year of NdFeB magnets, with a long-term expansion plan up to 5,000 to 10,000 tons per year. Our products will support strategic sectors including electric vehicles, wind energy, defense, robotics, electronics, medical devices, and industrial automation. Our products will support the sectors including electric vehicles, which is the most important strategic supply for the car manufacturers. Rare earth magnets are no longer just another industrial product. They are strategic material that will define the future of manufacturing, clean energy, and national security. Why Gujarat? The opportunity before Gujarat is autonomous. Today, India imports most of its high-performance rare earth magnets, creating a strategic dependence on several suppliers, overseas suppliers. This has become even more evident following recent export restrictions and supply chains issues, as Badoo sir said, because world's 99.9% magnet was supplied from the China, and now the China banned the 100% magnets from the China. Gujarat already has many strengthens needs to build these industries because the world-class ports, strong engineering and manufacturing capabilities, a growing EV ecosystem, renewable energy leadership, excellent industrial infrastructure. However, I believe our focus should be broader than attracting a few magnet plants. We should aim to establish a complete rare earth ecosystem, rare earth processing, metal production, alloy manufacturing, magnet manufacturing, component manufacturing, recycling, and research and development. Only then will India achieve true self-reliance. Our project alone creating hundreds of highly skilled direct jobs and thousands of direct employment opportunities across the engineering, automation, chemicals, logistics, and precision manufacturing. More importantly, this industry has the potential to transfer Gujarat into India's global manufacturing hub for the rare earth technologies. Can we compete with zero duty import from China? Today, my answer is not completely yes. Out, we certainly can in the near future. There are three major reasons. First, China has spent decades building the integrated ecosystem from mining to finished magnets. This gives them significant cost and efficiency advantages. Second, Chinese manufacturers receiving strong government support, including tax refunds on export infrastructure support and economic of scale. Third, India is still developing its upstream capabilities in rare earth metals and alloys. Without a fully integrated domestic supply chain, manufacturing costs remain higher. The solution is not trade barriers. The solution is building India's own integrated ecosystem so that we become globally competitive. Are we export competitive? Yes. I believe India can become export competitive. FTAs provide an excellent opportunity to access global markets. And before 4 months, government of India is also announced the PLI scheme for the magnets manufacturing that is about 7,200 crores. However, competitiveness depends on the then tariff advantages. China currently offers export tax refunds of around 13% on the rare earth products, significantly improving international pricing. If India can ensure reliable raw materials availability, competitive financing, efficient logistics, and support for value-added manufacturing, Gujarat can become a preferred global supplier of rare earth magnets. I have some policy suggestions. I have 6 key recommendations. First, recognize rare earth metals and permanent magnets as a strategic national industry. Second, ensure long-term domestic availability of rare earth raw materials for an Indian manufacturers. Third, support integrated projects that cover metal, alloys, and magnet manufacturing, not only the final magnet stage. Fourth, introduce capital support, production incentives, and low-cost financings for the critical industries. Fifth, Gujarat should develop a dedicated rare earth manufacturing cluster with common testing facilities, skill development programs, infrastructure, and faster approvals. 6. Since the rare earth metal and permanent magnet manufacturing is a completely new strategic industry in India, the government should formally communicate with banks and financial institutions that these are national priority projects. Traditional lending criteria may not fully capture the long-term strategic value of such investments. Banks should therefore adopt a more supportive approach, prioritize the financing of eligible projects, and provide timely access to credit. This is not just financing an industries, it is investing in India's strategic and industrial future. Finally, industry must also play its role in investing in technology, research, recycling, and long-term partnership. Atmanirbharta is not achieved by replacing imports with assembly. It is achieved by mastering the entire value chain, creating technology, developing skill, talent, the building globally competitive industries. Rare earth magnets are the backbone of electric mobility, renewable energy, defense robotics, and advanced manufacturing. If Gujarat builds a complete rare earth ecosystem today, I will not only strengthen India's self-reliance, but also position the state of a global export hub for one of the world's most strategic industries. That is the vision we at PR&D Metal and Magnets are committed to pursuing. Thank you.
Thank you. Subhok bhai, one question for you. Subhok bhai, एक question है आपके लिए.
Yes, sir.
हमारे जो used battery cells होते हैं, alkaline cells containing lithium, if we were to reprocess all the used cells, how much of it would it solve the problem in terms of our needs?
Sir, वो पूरा different industries है. The rare earth metal is the different, and we are also coming with the battery recycling plant very soon.
Okay.
Yes, we are planning to battery recycling.
But do you have an idea that अगर हर एक battery अगर reprocess हो India में,
Yes, sir.
तो how much problem of lithium will be able to solve? Fully, partially, or very little?
Fully, sir.
Fully?
Yes, sir.
So we will not need any new lithium.
No need.
क्या बात है यार. This is a clear indication of Bhadu sir. Thank you Subhok bhai. Please give him a round of applause here. He is in an industry which is now dictating the future, where
Actually,
China has got a stronghold. हाँ जी.
As far as the lithium batteries are concerned, actually recycling is definitely one of the solutions. But recycling, the entire ecosystem of recycling is extremely difficult to create. From collection to processing to other things, we don't really, it's a long way for creating that kind of a recycling ecosystem as of now. So it's been under the government scanner. We are trying to create the black mass processing capabilities as well as the credible collection system of these recycled diamond used batteries and all that, and the technologies which can safely extract the lithium and the lithium ion from those used batteries. So that is another area in the circular economy itself, which is going to be a very, very important area. Rare earth magnets is a different industry, so but there also, in the rare earth magnets, there is also a aspect of recycling because we have already imported a lot of rare earth magnets.
Yes, sir.
So that
as I told you, that is 99.9% magnets was exported from China.
Yes.
Right now.
So that Chakra and other industry players are actually looking at that recycling also.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Actually मैं क्रोमा गया था, तो क्रोमा में मैंने बिन देखा that this is for used batteries. So I asked the manager, he says आपके घर में जितनी भी used batteries है इसमें डाल दीजिए, and we will be able to reprocess, and they have set up a plant where whatever chroma is able to gather in used batteries, तो वहाँ तो electronics लेने के लिए आते हैं तो लोग उसमें, I said why don't you give me an incentive, थोड़ा सा discount दे दीजिए मुझे price में, मैं neighbor की battery भी लेके आ जाऊँगा.
So, sir, I have a request to the government officers also that we will start some courses for the magnet manufacturing and recycling for the magnets, because this is a very strategic product for the country, right? And
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Now
you,
let's
sir.
go to the next speaker, Mr. Sunil Dave, Managing Director, BC Instruments Private Limited, bracket Aero, supply to Boeing. बड़ा emphasis दे रहे हो.
Yeah, a very good evening, everybody. Thank you, sir, for the. Thank you for the coffee. I think we all needed that. I know the youngsters are waiting for us to finish. Don't worry, I'm not going to take a lot of time. They already. I know, and no, it's a privilege to be amongst the best today, the Navratnas of Baroda. Thank you, sir, for including an MSME in this group. Thank you, Ajay ji, Gajera ji, for the opportunity to present some of my views. I'm happy that Sunil Parekh ji had given us some boundaries that itna hi bolna, itne mein hi rehna. I'm very happy. I'll try to limit to that. Sunil Dave, founder and managing director of BC Instruments India Private Limited. This is a small precision, high precision shop located in Vallabh Vidyanagar, if students know that place. It's called Anand, 30 kilometers north of here. We are in the aerospace business, which meaning commercial aerospace, some satellite parts. Aerospace, we have only two big industries, Airbus and Boeing. Embraer is there, maybe coming to Gujarat in some time. Bombardier, not so much. अगर इंडिया की आप स्काई देखें कभी भी एक ऐप मिलता है एयर रेडार फ्लाइट रेडार तो तकरीबन 700 एयरक्राफ्ट है हमारे स्काई के ऊपर आज उसमें एयर इंडिया मिला लीजिए इंडिगो मिला लीजिए स्पाइस जेट एंड मे बी 1 or 2 more. So it's not a big industry. But again, we cannot live without our industry, isn't it? Some of the people here need it, need that service that is being provided so that we keep our jobs, we do our jobs properly, and make sure that the cargo is also shifted from time to time. Some of the questions that Parekh Saab has given to me and what I heard from Ajay ji's presentation and Gajra ji's welcome address, I'm just going to talk a little more that there are some industries, like aerospace, where if you want to be a competitive exporter, you have to be aware of the geography that you are looking at. Do you have knowledge of the industry? Do you have knowledge of the geography? Do you know the regulatory requirements? I'm not talking just tariffs, the regulations. It's a complete big chapter in itself. Are you aware of the specific requirements? Are you aware of standards? I think Ajay ji mentioned about standards. We are now not talking about the low-end entry product. We are talking about, the moderate or complex parts here. So the regulations come in place, the standards come in place. We want to work with the world standards, not just the standards that are, designed or fabricated in India. Are we aware of the testing requirements? There is one word which doesn't come up often is audits. These are highly regulated industries, means audits are very high in nature. Some people from pharma may know about it, like if you want to export certain type of drugs, I think there is an FDA audit. When you want to export something in aerospace or satellite, I think audit is part of your life. So I don't think we are training our youngsters enough on some of the areas that I just spoke of. And the last and the most important one is customer service. Somebody talked about sending a spare. How do you do it? I'm talking about life-saving spares. It has to reach my client in 24 hours. Will RBI allow it? Will my banker allow it? Will my customs allow it? Probably no, not yet. So these are the things that our government has to address along with the MSMEs, along with the large units, and perhaps make sure that our state is competitive enough. Another area, employee skilling. I think it was brought about by some of the esteemed speakers. I'll talk about it a bit more because that is very close to my heart. When we are talking of competitiveness, what is competitiveness? It is that you are consistently winning orders profitably. If you do better customer delivery, if you do better customer service, and scaling without chaos. You want to scale, of course, I heard 60,000 crores, 15,000 crores, 10,000 crores. Do it, nothing wrong. But are you going to be able to scale consistently with discipline? Look at what happened at Indigo. I think 6 months ago, all of us had cancelled flights. What happened? Why? Because they scaled without going into detail, without looking into the winter timetable.
What is happening at Air India? Why are they cutting? They've cut down 30% of their flights. Older aircrafts, newer technology has already taken place, customer demands are changing. बोलते हैं ना मौसम बदल रहा है तो उसके साथ थोड़ा थोड़ा तो सबको बदलना पड़ेगा. So are there any other airlines left in India? Not many, maybe handful, but they are not profitable. So why is this happening? Is the policy not in the right way that it should be given to them? Maybe not, but they have not understood the policies properly, or they have not understood the customer requirements properly. And we are talking high-tech, high-value items. यहाँ स्टूडेंट्स है तो आपको रफेल के बारे में काफ़ी पता होगा, आपने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बारे में सुना होगा. बड़ौदा, we are very happy that Tata Airbus is here. Do you know how much one Rafale cost? It cost 1,600 crore rupees. And we have ordered 36. I think all of them are here. We have just assembled and flown C-295, the Tata Airbus defense aircraft. It cost 800 crores. A single piece that you see, हम देखते हैं कभी ऊपर. तो उसके साथ जो ecosystem आता है पूरा, are we able to develop it? Should we be developing it? Should we be looking at it closely? We should, of course, because we have ordered 900 aircrafts right now with both Indigo and Air India involved. Then why is it not happening? Because these things takes years. These things takes lot of time. पॉलिसी अगर आज गवर्नमेंट फेवर भी करे अजय जी या उनकी टीम तो कल से नहीं ये शुरू होने वाला है. So it may take years. So when I talk of policy, if I have time, I'll talk about it a bit. But just Sunil ji also mentioned that the speech should have some facts and data so that we don't bluff our way around. We are importing aircrafts worth $115 billion. 1 billion is about 9,500 crores today. Against that, there are 4 elements that we can export. So I'm coming back to his question. Aircraft. Do we export aircraft? No. Do we export services in the MRO, which is very important? Like आप अपना vehicle service करवाने जाते हो Windsor में या MG में या तो आपका कोई भी 2-wheeler हो. Very minimal. Components, the sub-assemblies, that the game that I am in. Maximum $3 billion का export हो रहा है India से. And the 4th one is the services. Services mean you can see things around you which is intangible, maybe about $5 billion. So the gap is very big. Nothing wrong with it, but we have to understand that there is a gap and we should be addressing it very seriously. I'll just club in the the China aspect. Are we competitive with China? Unit to unit price? Yes. With Indian inefficiencies? No. What are the inefficiencies? Maybe we'll go into detail, if time permits. But luckily, Gujarat, we are coming from a state where there is an entrepreneurial spirit. This state has, it has a proud, pride and culture of exporting through the 1,600-kilometer coastline that we have. Go back 200 years, you will see a lot of people traveling from Gujarat to the African nations and maybe beyond. And I think it's a huge and very nice history that we have. Today, there are 8 crore MSMEs in India, of which maybe 80 lakh are in Gujarat, and only 3 lakh exporters. So, are they quality exporters? Where are they at the spectrum of the value chain? Maybe at the lower end. Some are in the middle, and some are, of course, giving some complex, items. But I think why I want to emphasize on this is because 45% of India's exports is still with the MSMEs, and nobody can deny the fact. But MSMEs के लिए government कुछ करती है, ज़्यादा करती है. It's a debatable thing. I think one of the best things about Gujarat that I have found in my experience is that they are very open to listening. I mean, I have been to ministries a couple of times, Index B a few times, talking to bureaucrats and ministers. They are open. I think they have hired consultants, KPMG and Deloitte. They are also very open. They are, but I think they are not visiting the industries. They are not going to the MSME shops. They are not going to the SME shops to find out the problems firsthand. Because what you hear across the table is slightly different. So the reason to say this is cluster approach is something very important. Boeing has
within 2 states, they have 8,000 suppliers. In India, we have a total of 350 suppliers, and of which only 100 are exporters. So this is the scale that we are talking if we have to bridge something. Will FTAs help in our product? Maybe yes and no, maybe no. Reason is these are high-end products, aluminum and steel. Tariffs won't come down, easily. Are the raw materials available in India? No. Can they be available? Yes. Then why are they not available? Because the steel producers here or elsewhere, they think the volumes are too low to justify the investments. Regulations are too high. Specifications are at the top end level of what they produce, so they cannot do that. So these are some of the challenges. And dual technology. This industry also has a very good chance of developing the satellite industry. I think we just heard, ISRO has been launching payloads every 2-3 months. We are one of the cheapest or the most economical, I should say, in the world. And why not, as we should be. But it is still an unregulated area. You have seen few failures, but I'm sure it's a right entry. And if it's ISRO as an anchor industry in Ahmedabad, anchor organization industry in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, I think we have this golden opportunity to develop that segment. Coming back to policies, they are recording, so I think I'll say a few things. If interests the government agencies, we can sit across the table and maybe discuss a few things. I'll go back to the most fundamental of that. How are our municipal schools doing? Is the government aware they are doing good? Do they think there's an improvement required? Private schools are, dime a dozen, and it has become fashionable to use them. But when we heard of the investments across this, distinguished panelists here, if they are going to hire 500 people, employees for their next project, where are they going to come from? You need the students from a municipal school. If you arrest their dropout, if you take them on a tour, if you show them the industries at the secondary level and at the higher secondary level, then they will be interested that I want to work for any of these industries that are here today. We are using the government buses for all the wrong reasons, but I think sometimes do that. So skilling will have to start from the school level and not when you want them to be a better operator or a better worker or a better employee. Second, GST. I don't know whether in whose purview it is. I'm a 100% export-oriented unit. Whatever we do is exported. Whatever we buy, we pay 18%. I get the refund after many, many months. Now, why should I do that? I have to borrow money on interest, which is 8% or 8.5%, somebody mentioned. I'm also, I'm waiting for the refunds. Should I, a good economist will tell you that it is better that, पहले होता था एक सर्टिफिकेट आप दो तो शायद ड्यूटी फ्री इंपोर्ट आप कर सकते थे. तो why not, GST free purchasing in India? It's possible. I think those who are in the policy, making or reviewing, perhaps will be able to understand them better. Where are the venture capitalists? MSMEs, if they have to duplicate what they have to do, at 20 crores, MSME level is then changed into the large scale. So what happens here? You are no longer an MSME, you are competing large units. So I think it is not something that the kind of dollar value that you have 95 today. Perhaps it's, you lose the status immediately if you decide to expand. Government talks of interest subsidies. Wonderful. I think I have used it. 5% is something that one should always utilize if it is possible, but it is more generic. Why can't government help the SMEs on listing? Because it's free money. We just spoke of, there are, in NSE and BSE, there are only 5,000 units, organizations which are listed. Is it enough for a country like India? Why can't there be more SME listings if they need 20 crores, 30 crores, 50 crores? I think they will be in a better position. Government will be free of this burden of providing subsidies and so on and so forth. Something that we can discuss. And the last one I wanted to touch upon was, I think Gujarat has one of the best roads, the best connectivity, and we are in Baroda, so we should be very happy that we have an international airport. It's already designated as international airport. The expressways are starting from here. It's a midpoint now. The bullet train will be here in maybe a couple of year, under a year, and perhaps the best in roads infrastructure that we know. However, when you are dealing with life-saving equipment, the infrastructure at the airport and the ports can still be better. Cold chains are still not, available in plenty. Gujarat has an extreme weather. Unfortunately, we are at 44 degrees centigrade sometimes. If you go to, if you fly, if you go to Mumbai port or Ahmedabad airport, you will see those FedEx and DHL's, open cargo areas. And I think कि भैया इसमें इतना महंगा पार्ट है ये आप धूप में कर दिया है मैंने तो फैक्ट्री में ध्यान से आपको दिया था बॉम्बे में बारिश आती है तो 7-8 इंच आती है एक साथ and your boxes are just lying there. Go and have a look how the logistics is being handled. Why I am asking for this? Because if I am air shipping these parts or these assemblies within India, I am paying 130 rupees a kg. Coming back to the facts as sir has asked. If I am exporting this part or in a sub-assembly, I am paying 650 rupees a kg. And still it doesn't reach my client or my supplier within a time frame that is logical, nice, acceptable. So we are, because there are some youngsters, I know they want to leave and I also want to end, but I just want to say one thing, that 2025 and 2026 are the best years to start a business if you want to become an entrepreneur, are one of the best years if you are expanding, as I already heard from my fellow panelists, because these are interesting times. We have not touched digitization today, we have not touched AI today, but I think those are big enablers that are given to us. And I think I want to thank again the Gujarat government because they went regional, as Sunil Parekhji mentioned in his opening remarks. Coming to Baroda or Central Gujarat is a big thing, recognizing people from Vadodara and encouraging youngsters. So thank you very much. Appreciate for the time.
Thank you, Sunil. And now for the last.
I was very curious about one thing. If you are exporting 100% and if you are facing GST issues, why don't you become an SEZ? That will solve the problem.
Sir,
if you're not supplying DTA, what is the point of being an EOU?
The chance, because we want to also sell in India, isn't it? Because that's the natural extension, right? I mean,
Expanding, you should have an SEZ for exports and selling EOU for Indians. If you're selling in India, you have to pay GST. That's not a problem. If you are exporting, the best to be in SEZ, you don't have to pay GST at all.
I know there are 750 EOU units in India in total, sir. And I know government is not now very keen that EOUs remain because they want them to become either go into SEZ or...
No, government is neutral. It's a customized thing.
Okay.
However, I noted your point because when we have come out with GST reforms, the finance ministry, and I'm speaking on behalf of the government of India, whole of the government of approach kind of a thing, not my ministry, but the finance ministry has proposed and promised this reform that we will fast track the GST refunds.
Yeah.
I will just take a track of that as to what is happening over there.
Yeah, please, sir. That will be very helpful. Thank you.
But please do think about SEZ if you are expanding. That will solve your problem.
Or have 2 small units just across the wall, It's also a very practical idea, So thank you, Sunil, incisive, and the fact that your small scale did not come in the way of giving us very big ideas. Thank you. The last speaker for the day is Mr. Girish Agarwal, founder of Raghuveer Biofuels and Energy LLP. Girish ji. Thank you for your patience, Girish ji.
Hello everyone, I am Girish Agarwal. I am part of Raghuveer Group. We have been in textile industry since 60 years. We have been manufacturing. We have been exporting home textile and garment. And we have been doing a lot of industrial automation while focusing on productive improvement. Nearly 20 years ago, when I was traveling through small towns in Germany to sell my products, I admired the industrial development, the infrastructure, the quality. At that time, I hoped one day our own towns would achieve the same standards. Today, when I travel across Gujarat, I am proud the transformation happening. But this is not the time to achieve the last 20 years of celebration. It is time to shape the next 20 years. Just 2 days ago, I was in China after visiting several manufacturing facilities, especially labor-intensive industries. What impressed me was not just the scale of factories, but the entire ecosystem. The government policy, finance, infrastructure, skills, and industry work together with one objective, to make China globally competitive. If Gujarat wants to compete with China, Gujarat must think like China, not by copying China, but by matching the long-term vision, speed of execution, and manufacturing excellence. I come from textile and garment industry. It's our own denim trouser business. We are implementing third phase of automation. We have seen automation does not reduce the employment. It raises the productivity, creates high-paying jobs, employs more engineers, technicians, enables Indian companies to compete globally. Today, however, I want to speak about another transformation opportunity, the bioeconomy. India imports most of its crude oil. Every liter of ethanol produced in India replaces imported fuel. Energy security is national security. Just as Gujarat became India's petrochemical capital, I believe it can become India's bioenergy capital. It includes compressed biogas from farm waste, isobutanol, biobitumen, green polymers like PLA, PET, and PVC. What we were talking right now was polymers produced from crude. What we are now looking forward is we require green biocomposable plastics. When people talk about ethanol, they talk only about the fuel. This is a base industry what the government has provided us the base. From this base, the next step is we produce biopolymers. We made bioplastics. Okay, this is what is the future. But when we go to the banks, this is to Mr. Ajay Badoji, हम जब बैंक में जाते हैं, हमें बोलते हैं आप टेक्सटाइल से आ रहे हैं, आप कैसे इसको आपको कोई नॉलेज नहीं है, आप किस तरह से आपको जो है ये प्रोजेक्ट को आप इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, आपके पास सब कुछ है, फाइनेंस है, आपके पास सब चीज़ है, लेकिन हम आपको क्यों फाइनेंस करें? गवर्नमेंट ने तो सब्सिडी हटा दी है, गवर्नमेंट ने तो 95 निकाल दिया है, तो आपको हम क्यों लोन दें? दिस इज द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन. व्हाई धीरूभाई नेवर थॉट, टाटा नेवर थॉट. टाटा ने जो है टाइटन बनाया, उसके पास कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी थी, कौन सी अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी कि मैं वॉच कैसे बनाऊंगा? वैसे धीरूभाई ने कब सोचा था कि मैं पेट्रोकेमिकल का मेरे को प्लांट लगाना है, इतना बड़ा रिफाइनरी लगाया उन्होंने, तो क्या उनको ये सवाल पूछे गए थे? सवाल पूछे भी गए थे तो उस टाइम में उन्होंने रिस्क ली थी. वैसे हम भी आज रिस्क लेना तैयार बैठे हैं कि वी शुड ऑल्सो, वी आर टेकिंग रिस्क, वी आर पुटिंग आवर नेम एट स्टेक, आवर फाइनेंस एट स्टेक. सो व्हाई द बैंक्स आर हिंडरिंग द प्रोसेस? दिस इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम. अगर अदिया जी ने बोला आप टेक्सटाइल वाले सब टेक्सटाइल सोचते हो, आप क्यों दूसरे में नहीं जा रहे हो? हम जाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी जो है कोई फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम देना नहीं चाहता. तो दिस इज वन थिंग विच हैज टू बी एड्रेस्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. ओके, दिस इज वन थिंग आई वांटेड टू से. Most importantly, it creates a new engine of rural prosperity. 4 decades of our been Annadatta. Next chapter is to make Urja Datta. Along the food, our farms can also produce hydrocarbons of the future. Grain, agricultural residues like cotton stalks, castor stalks, biomass can become valuable industrial feedstock. Instead of burning these resources and creating CO2 emission, we should process them into clean fuel, bio-based products that strengthen India's energy security and reduce imports. If we have CBG, compressed biogas, we don't require, if every village of India, if have a CBG plant backed by the government on a cooperative system to procure the cow dung, to grow napier grass on the bunds of the land. I don't say you use the fresh lands for napier, but napier can be produced on the bunds of the land. It will help in restoring the soil. It will help in soil erosion, and it will give a feedstock to the CBG plants. आज CBG प्लांट अगर अपने चलते होते तो अपने LNG के लिए अपने को तरसना नहीं पड़ता. आज LPG जो है अपने को घर घर जो अपने को तकलीफ पड़ रही है, आप गाँव में प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हो. आपको क्या ज़रूरत है कि आपको इंपोर्ट करना है उसको? आप जो है उसको कोऑपरेटिव मीडियम जो है बनाइए, जैसे आप अमूल कर रहे हैं. आज अमूल के पास ऑलरेडी इकोसिस्टम है कि वो जो है हर गांव में जाके आज मिल्क कलेक्शन कर रहा है, तो उसके सेम वे में वो जो है वहाँ से सबको तैयार करे फार्मर्स को तैयार करे, वहाँ की पंचायत को तैयार करे कि अपने घर में अपने यहाँ जितना फार्म वेस्ट है, अपना काउडंग है, अपने उसको सीबीजी प्लांट को दे। और उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट को इकोसिस्टम बनाना है। अगर सीबीजी सिस्टम अगर आप सक्सेस करना है तो ये दिस इज द ओनली वे। इफ यू से एंटरप्रेन्योर जो है वो अपना नेपियर ग्रास उगाए, वो फिर उसको सीबीजी प्लांट चलाए, तो डेट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल, दैट इज़ अ बुलशिट 100%। वो चलेगा ही नहीं, प्लांट कभी भी नहीं चलना है। इस पर जब तक कि गवर्नमेंट का वेस्ट जो है और अपना फार्म वेस्ट है वो अगर उसमें नहीं डाला जाएगा, तब तक ये सीबीजी सक्सेस नहीं हो सकता है। दैट इज़ द ओनली पॉलिसी वे वेयर वी कैन इम्पोर्ट सब्सटीट्यूट एलपीजी। आपने इथेनॉल की बात है, इथेनॉल इज़ अ बिग थिंग। गुजरात इज़ डेफिशिएंट स्टेट। गुजरात के अंदर इथेनॉल के प्लांट्स है नहीं, बिकॉज वी आर बैंड फॉर अल्कोहल, so we don't have distilleries over here, so we don't have experience for that. So we get executives, CEOs from outside the state, we can get the technology, we can invest, but we require finance. वो बड़ी क्रूशियल चीज़ है, बिना फाइनेंस कुछ नहीं हो सकता। तो हमारे बादू जी को एक ही चीज़ है कि आप उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट को रिक्वेस्ट कीजिए कि एक तो लॉन्ग टर्म पॉलिसी लाइए। आपने जो ये शॉर्ट टर्म पॉलिसी बनाया कि भाई हम जो है OMC ऑफटेक करेगा, तो OMC ने तो अभी कह दिया जी आपका तो प्लांट लगा नहीं है, क्योंकि मेरे पर गुजरात गवर्नमेंट मुझे मेरे प्लांट में हड्स डाल दिए, प्लांट रुक गया, मेरा जो है 31 मार्च को एक्सपायर हो गया। अब मुझे जो दिया कि आप 3 महीने में डाल दो प्लांट, 3 महीने में प्लांट लग सकता है, नहीं लग सकता। मैं बैंक के पास जाता हूँ, बोले जो 3 महीने का एक्सटेंशन मिला है, 3 महीने के बाद क्या होगा? देयर इज नो क्लैरिटी ऑन दैट। सो वी रिक्वायर क्लैरिटी फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट दैट एटलीस्ट गिव अस 2 years टाइम एक्सटेंशन, जिसके ऑलरेडी सब कुछ आपके जितने भी परमिशंस थे सब कुछ ले चुके हम लोग। तो दिस इज वन ऑफ द पेन फॉर द इंडस्ट्री। अब गुजरात पे आते हैं। टू मेक दिस हैपन, गुजरात शुड लॉन्च ए गुजरात बायो इकोनॉमी मिशन। द फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी शुड बी सपोर्ट फर्स्ट मूवर एंटरप्रेन्योर। Many projects are delayed not because of technology is lacking, but because financing is difficult. Approvals take time. Long-term offtake agreements are uncertain. Dedicated long-term finance, availability of land for such projects via district administration, faster approvals, feedstock infrastructure, demand certainty can unlock significant private investment and help Gujarat become worldwide bioenergy industry. Our vision should be simple: employment, exports, energy security, technology leadership. 20 years ago, Gujarat showed India how to build world-class petrochemical engineering and port ecosystem. The next 20 years should establish India as India's leader in bioenergy, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing. Let Gujarat become a state where Annadata becomes Urjadata, where entrepreneurs build globally competitive industries, where technology creates high-quality employment. Now coming to employment, my final, give me 2 minutes more. आज के दिन में अपने यूनिवर्सिटी में से, अपने इंस्टीट्यूट्स के अंदर से, अपने ग्रेजुएट्स लेके आ रहे हैं, वो थियोरेटिकल नॉलेज से लेके आ रहे हैं। अब थियोरेटिकल नॉलेज का जो है, जब वो जॉब लेने जाता है या उसने अपने बैंक से फाइनेंस लिया हुआ है उसके एजुकेशन लोन के लिए, अब वो जब इंडस्ट्री में अप्रोच करे, मेरे को कोई भी अप्रोच करेगा, मैं तेरे पास एक्सपीरियंस क्या है, मैं उसको ट्रेनिंग तरह रखना चाहता हूँ, रहना नहीं चाहता क्योंकि उससे सैलरी कम होती है। तो आई वुड सजेस्ट द गवर्नमेंट शुड मेक अ सिस्टम 1 year उनको जो है ट्रेनिंग जो है कंपलसरी, बिफोर गिविंग देम सर्टिफिकेट, ग्रेजुएशन सर्टिफिकेट, उनको कोई इंडस्ट्री में काम करना ज़रूरी है। जब उनको एक नॉलेज आए कि भाई हम जो है एक इंडस्ट्री में ये चीज़ होती है, जब वो ग्रेजुएट होता है फिर उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी। आप सीए को बोल रहे हो, आप जो है डॉक्टर्स को बोल रहे हो कि आप प्रैक्टिकल ट्रेनिंग लेके आइए, फिर हमको सर्टिफिकेट देंगे, तो वाई डोंट यू पुट दिस ऑन। आज इतने इंजीनियर्स हैं, इतने डिप्लोमाज हैं, इतने ITIs हैं, ये सब लोग बेकार घूम रहे हैं। आपके पास गवर्नमेंट हल्ला करते हैं हमारे पास जॉब नहीं है। इट इज़ नॉट दैट वी आर नॉट एबल टू गिव देम जॉब, वी आर रेडी टू गिव देम जॉब, बट आर दे रेडी टू कम एट दैट एंट्री लेवल? नो, दे वांट हम आए, हमको तो हमारा जो है बैंक का लोन पेमेंट करना है, तो एंट्री लेवल पे हम उनको कैसे प्रोवाइड करेंगे? वी कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड। दैट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम। सो आई सजेस्ट द गवर्नमेंट शुड पुट ओनस ऑन द यूनिवर्सिटीज, ऑन द इंस्टीट्यूट्स, कि 1 साल का कंपलसरी उनको ट्रेनिंग में जाना ही जाना है। अगर आपको ग्रेजुएशन सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए तो, क्योंकि थियोरेटिकल से प्रैक्टिकल 2 चीज़ अलग है, पूरी दुनिया अलग है। तो प्रैक्टिकल में आने के लिए ज़रूरी है कि उनको अगर जॉब चाहिए बाजार के अंदर, जाते ही उनको उनकी जो है EMIs भरी जाए, जो लोन उन्होंने लिए एजुकेशन लोन, बी से ओके गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड एजुकेशन लोन, उनको भरना भी है, डिफ़ॉल्ट नहीं होना है। तो उनको गवर्नमेंट को वो 1 साल का उसको एक्स्ट्रा टाइम मिलेगा कि वो जो है अपना कोर्स, प्रैक्टिकल कोर्स 1 साल करेगा। तो इमीडिएटली व्हेन ही ग्रेजुएट्स फ्रॉम द यूनिवर्सिटी और द टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूट, उसको उसका मेहनताना मिलता जो EMI भर सकेगा। तो दिस इज माई रिक्वेस्ट। Second thing is, I am coming from garments, home textile. हमारे यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा कॉस्ट लगती है लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग की. आई रिक्वेस्ट द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग की जो रीपेमेंट है वो 30 इयर्स की करी जाए. उसके अंदर कोई रिस्क नहीं है, क्यों वैल्यू अप्रिशिएट हो रही है. तो 30 साल का जो चाइना में दिया जाता है, वाई शुड नॉट बी गिवन टू अस? वी आर नॉट सेइंग मशीनरी पे हमको 30 साल दीजिए. आप मशीनरी का जो लाइफ टाइम है 7 इयर्स 8 इयर्स वो देते हमको, वी आर हैप्पी विद दैट, वी डोंट हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. बट लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, आज लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग में हम फाइनेंस डाल के बैठ जाते हैं, हमारे पास जो है अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं रहती है कि पैसा दूसरी जगह हम लगा सके. तो दैट इज़ वन थिंग रिक्वायर्ड. थर्ड थिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड व्हेन वी आर वर्किंग विद रिटेलर्स. आज पूरे दुनिया में रिटेल के अंदर होता है कि दे गेट द डिस्काउंटिंग डन. आज फैक्टरिंग एजेंसीज है, इंडिया के अंदर फैक्टरिंग एजेंसीज है, लेकिन वो फैक्टर क्यों नहीं करती है? वो फैक्टर इसलिए नहीं करती है कि ऑल ओवर बैंक्स बोलती है कि अब हमको विथ रिकॉर्स चाहिए. मीन्स आपसे रिकवरी, अगर सामने वाले पेमेंट नहीं दिया तो आपसे हम पेमेंट लेंगे. दे शुड बी इंश्योरेंस मैकेनिज्म. देयर इज एन इंश्योरेंस मैकेनिज्म, बट आरबीआई रूल डज नॉट परमिट देम टू डू ए फैक्टरिंग. तो अगर जगह फैक्टरिंग करोगे विदाउट रिकॉर्स करोगे तो इंडस्ट्री ग्रो होगी. आज कोई क्रेडिट के बिना काम नहीं चल सकता रिटेल के अंदर. रिटेल साइकिल इज 180 डेज. आज मेरा सप्लायर राहुल है बेटा इधर, वो बोलता साहब मुझे तो आपका पेमेंट मेरे को जो है ना तुरंत चाहिए, आज की आज चाहिए. इज वन ऑफ माई सप्लायर. राहुल चाहिए ना पैसा अर्जन, मैं कब दे सकूंगा? मैं तब दे सकूंगा मेरा बायर जो है मुझे पेमेंट देगा. ठीक है, तो सिस्टम है. आज क्रेडिट डिफॉल्ट खत्म हो जाएंगे, बैंक को फाइनेंस के लिए हमको जाना जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी इतनी. वी डोंट डिपेंड ऑन दैट. आज के दिन रिक्वायरमेंट है जो है इंडिया के लिए, देयर शुड बी विदाउट रिकोर्स फैक्टरिंग. दिस इज मस्ट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इंडस्ट्री टू रन. आज इंडस्ट्री नहीं चल सकती है उसके बिना. पूरा वर्ल्ड में है, इंडिया में नहीं है. हम आप भादू जी आपको रिक्वेस्ट है कि इसको जरूर इम्प्लीमेंट कीजिए. Thank you very much for hearing me patiently. I'm the last one, and sorry for the students. I cannot give you any opportunity.
Thank you very much. So that brings us to the close of all the speeches from all the people. किसी की हिम्मत है कि कोई सवाल करे? I can see one Pradeep is here and one Pai. We'll take 2 questions and then we'll go for the conclusion. So mic पहुंचा दीजिए उनको and then we'll come to you Pradeep bhai.
Yeah, it's a wonderful session. Basically, I've attended. बहुत सारे dignitaries थे. I appreciate सुनील भाई जो आपने export के बारे में बोला, because I'm in the exports since 25 years almost. We're training people on how to do exports. And थोड़ा correction कर दो, आपने जो export का data दिया कि 80 lakh SMEs में से 3 lakh MSMEs जो है वो exporters है, but the correction data is entire India में से 1.73 lakh exporters है. पूरे इंडिया में से कह रहा हूँ. The biggest reason what I believe, as rightly said, the biggest fear of them is, सर पैसा आएगा एक्सपोर्ट करने के बाद, क्यों हम लोग इंडियन मेंटालिटी से एक्सपोर्ट करने जा रहे हैं. That's why there is no great challenge. So main, as rightly said, the fund issues and the government policies, because I'm closely associated importing so many goods from China as well. What I've seen, the biggest factor, what they have the infrastructure, which is required for India as well. So, अभी अपनी GIDC में जाइए और चाइना की GIDC, बिकॉज शायद उन्होंने बोला वो 5 साल तक चाइना में थे, आप इंडस्ट्री विजिट करने जाए तो ह्यूज डिफरेंस. तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा हर एक चीज़ में एक चीज़ की ज़रूरत है कि एक बार जो भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करना चाहते हैं उसको लोग चाइना विजिट करके आइए, वो देख के आए पहले कि एक्सपोर्ट कैसे हो रहा है, हाउ दे आर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, पॉइंट नंबर 1. एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरी एसोसिएशंस, इवन बेसिकली चाहे DGFT अपना एक एक्सपोर्ट हेल्प डेस्क चला रहा है, बट इवन एवरी एसोसिएशन शुड टेक केयर, एंड इवन चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्सेस जहाँ पे एक एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट का हेल्प डेस्क होना चाहिए, जहाँ पे जो पर्टिकुलरली फॉर द MSMEs पार्ट. सब बड़ी कंपनियों को कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, दे कैन हायर द कंसल्टेंट, दे कैन हैव द पीपल, बट फॉर द MSMEs particularly who is taking 45% share in this world in exports from India, they need a help, basic helps. जैसे उन्होंने बताया GST का इश्यू है, so there is no one. मैं VCCI में गया था, यहाँ पे कोई डेस्क ही नहीं है कि जहाँ पे हेल्प रिजॉल्व कर पाए. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट प्रदीप जी, आई एम एक्चुअली फ्रॉम अहमदाबाद, सो इंजीनियर साहब आए तो उनको हमने रिक्वेस्ट की थी, वी हैव स्टार्टेड अर्लियर. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट कि आपके एंड से हर एक एसोसिएशन के अंदर एज वेल एज every chamber of commerce should be one export import help desk. We'll be more than happy to extend our services. We are presently present in across India for promoting exports. हम लोग मिशन चलाया जिसका नाम हमने दिया है मिशन गोल्डन बर्ड के नाम से, जो भारत को सोने की चिड़िया कहते थे उसको हम एक्सटेंड कर रहे हैं. So मोर देन हैप्पी यू कैन टेक दिस नोट एज तो ही अपना इंडिया का एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ पाएगा सर.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next one is from Pradeep bhai.
Hello. So today's session is a very interesting, well informative, at a very corporate level and very high level. So I am just looking to my profile. I work in the ports, DGFT, customs and all that, reporting to these corporate heads, and for the last 30 years, I am attending the seminars on the exam related issue. And I know that you have given me liberty of only speaking two sentences. So one thing, whatever we discuss at a very macro level for the exports and all that, but role of customs and DGFT, we cannot deny, number one, whoever it may be. Now the operational part, the corporate side and all that, not that much involved, but their own staff getting involved. I am being one of these, happen to be employee at the operational level and during the last 3 years. So what I feel, that customs, DGFT, shipping line and all that, these are very important entity for the smooth exim. And there are a lot of seminars going on that to do ease of business. So now, I'm really, with due respect to every exim entity and all that, and I cannot deny the role of DGFT in international trade. But whatever the practical, the documentation, exim interaction with the government authority, I humbly request you, it's not my advice, but giving a point of thoughts to merge DGFT with the customs. And that I already shared my views with the Mr. Vivek Zori, who is a CBIC chairman, and past he already endorsed my view, but now he's retired. And there's at least it's not advised, and how far it is practical, I don't know. But at least I request Honorable Additional Secretary to, invite thoughts from the trade, that whether which area where the DGFT and customs can be, clubbed. That's really, really helpful for the smooth the exim operation. So unless and until container goes out of India.
Yeah, we follow you. Okay,
please.
Point noted.
Yeah.
Ajay ji, you want to comment on this or not? Not really. Yeah, please, because as part of concluding remarks.
Because it's been going very long. Just one. However, and that's a big thing, where we are incurring more logistic cost is because of the documentation, because of the delays, and because of the other hidden, the friction, and all of those logistic costs which are there. That is where we are
The softer
part of logistic cost. That is where we need to work, because we have to get this documentation, and this is related to what this Mr. Bapat has said actually. What we are working on in commerce and in custom is what is called a digital trade facilitation bill, which is now being prepared for the parliament, which would lead us into what we call a Bharat Trade Net, which will be a single repository for every export related documentation, linking it with the shipping as well as the customs. Custom parallelly is working for the SWIFT 2.0. So transaction level, everything would happen at 2.0, and all the documentation would happen at the Bharat Trade Net, and they will be real-time linked. So what we need to do, what we hope to achieve from that is a huge reduction in this entire documentation, filing, because we found out that there are about 5,000 data points. The exporters have to fill in 5,000 data points, and a lot of these data points can be automatically fetched, automatically filled in. So Bharat Trade Net is trying to achieve that actually in a longer run, so that everything flows digitally very, very smoothly. And it is, to give you some idea, it will be a UIDAI or UPI kind of effort in the area of trade. So it will be our own digital trade infrastructure, which is comparable to what we have done with UPI and other things. So that is what being attempted now.
So thank you very much. I think with this we will now close. No, sorry, Pradeep, sorry. Talk one-on-one. We bring this conclusion. You want a question? Okay.
जी नमस्ते, आई एम अ कंपोस्टेबल प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग मैन्युफैक्चरर। और जैसे सर ने बात किया कि सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक जो गवर्नमेंट इतनी स्ट्रिक्टली बैन कर रहे हैं, तो सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक में सिर्फ कैरी बैग्स नहीं आते, जो यहाँ सभी इंडस्ट्रीज बैठी है, तो पैकेजिंग मटेरियल बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्री में सभी जगह यूज़ हो रहा है। ऑटोमेशन जो है, मतलब अपने सर जो बैठे हैं BC इंस्ट्रूमेंट से, सर आपको शायद पता नहीं होगा, आपकी कंपनी में मैं ही वेंडर हूँ, मैं ही आपको सप्लाई कर रहा हूँ आपका जो कंपोस्टेबल पाउच है वो। तो कंपोस्टेबल प्रोडक्ट्स पैकेजिंग में सिर्फ कैरी बैग्स के अलावा बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्री में यूज़ हो रहे हैं। जैसे फार्मेसी में अपना लाइनर बैग हो गया, गार्बेज बैग गवर्नमेंट जो अभी यूज़ कर रही है।
Tell us your point.
या सॉरी सो मेरा एक जो अपना GST का एक 6 महीने पहले जो रिफॉर्म आया, उसमें गवर्नमेंट ने बायोडिग्रेडेबल प्रोडक्ट्स पर 5% GST किया, तो हमारा जो रॉ मटेरियल सप्लाई आ रहा है वो 18% में आ रहा है। भादु सर, सो वी आर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपोस्टेबल and biodegradable are two different definition things.
So you are accumulating credit.
No. हाँ, तो हमारा जो 13% आ रहा है जो बीच में, तो अगर हम 5% में बिल बना रहे हैं, तो अपना जो बिल बन रहा है वो कंपोस्टेबल प्लास्टिक में आ रहा है। बायोडिग्रेडेबल इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग। सो वो 5% में गवर्नमेंट ने किया है। कंपोस्टेबल का जो वर्ड है वो कहीं पर मेंशन नहीं है, तो जो ये कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है उसमें पूरी मार्केट का पूरा प्राइसिंग गड़बड़ हो गया बीच में।
बराबर है। Yes, because there is a differential on every transaction.
Yes.
So he's accumulating credit.
So
inverted duty. Let me give you one more example. Ajay ji, there are 3 or 4 cases also we came across. जब हम FTA sign करते हैं, then the finished product comes into India at 0%. Now an Indian manufacturer is paying his own duties against zero duty. So what he prefers is, he prefers to invest abroad in order to supply to India. So that is yet another cycle that has started because of this.
No, I just forgot this, but this was something I had to come in basically, because you made a point in your speech that FTA actually is being signed, but we are importing more and exporting less. Now, this is factually, if you look at only at the data, it may be factually correct. But you have to ask why. And that is where the entire question is, what kind of FTAs we have signed in the past. If you are signing FTA with ASEAN, if you are signing FTAs like ATIGA, you are going to do this only, because you are going to get it at zero duty. But now we are signing FTA with EU, UK, we are signing FTA with Gulf countries, we are signing FTA trying to have a trade deal with USA, New Zealand, Australia. Those are the countries where you would be able to do more exports than imports, because that nature of the economy is such. If you are signing FTA with nature of the economy where they can supply you, flood you with their cheap product, that is what going to happen. So in this new government, and I didn't want to make it a political point, but in this new government, if you look at the FTAs, all the FTAs are forward-looking, new age FTAs, which are actually looking at our own competitive strength and not getting into FTAs where we are being
in direct competition.
We are being liable, vulnerable or something of that sort.
Point taken, sir. Point taken.
अब आप चाइना से FTA साइन कर दोगे तो जो 111 का डिफिसिट है वो बढ़ के 200 का हो जाएगा यार।
नहीं, वो तो TC, वो तो हम तो उनसे ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट ही नहीं सही ना, RCPCT। Where the markets are expensive, where the margins are better, so that you have scope,
बताया यहाँ पे पूर्ण सत्य।
नहीं, एक reason भी है, which is actually favoring your argument against mine. Just to say on a lighter note, FTAs with countries that have zero duty, we tend to gain, because we don't tend to gain by having an FTA where their own customs duty was already between 0 and 1%. When they export, they use the FTA because our duties are high, therefore FTA is better. So FTA का जब हम agreement देखते हैं, we will always see that we are exporting less and we are importing more, because they are not using FTA, they are using FTA and we are not using FTA. So ये भी एक है, which is again further buttressing your point.
Yes,
That these
yes.
figures actually distort the actual reality on both the counts.
And on that account also,
Hanji.
if you look at the recent FTAs that we have signed, and these textile people and other people would, after some time, will come to realize that what is happening in markets like EU and UK and other advanced markets are, they have generally less duty than India.
Exactly, that's
okay. However, and that's a big point, on the labor-intensive products, they have higher duties. And that is why we have made a point in our negotiation, very hard point, that you better reduce it or make it zero. Otherwise, because all the textile, they are going to come to zero. Because precisely the point what he has made, we told them that if you are not going to put us zero, what is the point of doing FTA with you, because your Bangladesh and others are supplying to you at a lower cost duty, because there is a preferred system that you have which you are not giving to India. So all these advanced markets, strangely, they have a higher duty for the labor-intensive components, which we have negotiated and got them to zero, most of them to zero.
Congratulations. That's a long-term, very good strategy, sir. So finally, let's conclude this session. I think it has been an interesting session. I think a lot of thought-provoking ideas, some general ones and some very specific ones related to each sector. And I think there is a lot of learning. I think Index B and KPMG are going to sit together and make a summary of this. Iska nishkarsh nikalenge. And is anybody willing to volunteer to do some thought papers for us on each of the sectors? Thought paper meaning कि ये sector में ये 2 पन्ने का a summary of what is really required to boost Gujarat in that particular sector. If each one of you can undertake to write just 2 sides of a page. Ah, yes, Shimali. Oh. Mike.
Sir, idea of our industry department is that only, that will write it summary, what are the things needed for the Atmanirbharta and export readiness, and then in the final vibrant, January 27, we'll try to release the policy on that, sir.
No, I appreciate. What I'm saying is कि 10 minute में everybody was running short on the number of points they had. I'm saying if they are allowed to, or if we encourage them to put it on paper, then it will be, not to say that they repeat what they are saying, but to make it comprehensive.
Yes, sir.
More than 10 minutes. Sir, just to supplement what activity we have undertaken. If we can say take a week, just go back and within the next 2-3 days, think about it. By the way, if you want to listen to your own talk, because you don't want to contradict in what you are writing and what you are speaking, then this channel is available on YouTube live. You just have to go to the Vibrant Gujarat, scan the thing and find out what you have talked. And then there are points that you have forgotten. There are points in which you need to elaborate. Give some more data to support your argument. So, ek hafte mein, there is a request to each speaker. Please put it on 1 or 2 sides of a page, not long, and in bullet points. We have understood the general logic that you have. But usme kya hoga ki you will be able to elaborate a little bit more, and it will make sense when the final documentation. Our interest is state, because state level wo Vibrant Gujarat 2027 mein jab hoga, there will be some implications for general also. You can't have the state in isolation of the tariff, for example, FTA, for example. Those are all central issues. Banking and interest rates, central issues. So usko bhi zikr kijiye. But the state will then recommend to the center for certain points. But what they can do internally, they will try and do. So from that point of view, it's a sincere request to all of you. I think it's been a very fruitful discussion. Badhu Sahab, we must give these people a big round of applause for all the things that, we have really done well.
In fact, I was going to say that because of all the worthy speakers, brilliant speakers, actually I was constantly making notes as to what they are saying and where I can dig deeper into that, basically. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you very much. May I now request for 1 minute, sir. एक तो group photo है, very important. आपकी हाजिरी है उसको finally we, and then there is a formal vote of thanks by the Additional Chief Commissioner also.
આજના આત્મનિર્ભરતા એન્ડ એક્સપોર્ટ રેડીનેસ ફોર એ કોમ્પિટિટિવ ગુજરાતના સેમિનારમાં ઉપસ્થિત સરકારશ્રીના વરિષ્ઠ અધિકારીશ્રીઓ, પેનાલિસ્ટ અને આપણા મોડરેટર શ્રી સુનિલભાઈ તેમજ ઓડિયન્સ અને વિવિધ ઉદ્યોગકારો, આજના સમગ્ર કાર્યક્રમ દરમિયાન આપ સૌએ આપેલા અમૂલ્ય સૂચનો અને માર્ગદર્શન ગુજરાતના ઔદ્યોગિક વિકાસ અને આત્મનિર્ભરતા ભારતના નિર્માણમાં ચોક્કસપણે માર્ગદર્શક બનશે. આ કાર્યક્રમને સફળ બનાવવા માટે તમામ મહાનુભાવો, વક્તાઓ, પેનાલિસ્ટ, જીએસએફસી યુનિવર્સિટી, ઉદ્યોગ વિભાગ, જીસીસીઆઈ, કેપીએમજી તથા આયોજન સાથે જોડાયેલા તમામ સહયોગીઓનો હું હૃદયપૂર્વક આભાર માનું છું. આપ સૌનો કિંમતી સમય ફાળવવા બદલ આપનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. જય જય ગરવી ગુજરાત.